me and buttermilk is kinda in a bit of a weird what's the word? Kind of in a bit of a weird situation when it comes to translation wise, because we have something in Norway called surmelk, which translated just means sour milk. It's not milk that's gone bad. It's milk that has it is milk that is basically like treated with culture and stuff like that to the point where like it's thicker and it's more like kefir, but not quite kefir.
That would be our buttermilk.
Yeah, that.
Okay, in that case, Norwegians drink buttermilk regularly.
Oh!
To be fair, Kage, to be fair, and to Demi and Lucian, Norwegians are built different.
Of course they are.
A different also don't even get me started, Lucian. We eat old cheese. We eat old cheese that looks like bread. Don't even get me started. Our neighbors eat rotten. Two of our neighbors eat rotten fish. But yeah, so this is a carton on Discord of our sour milk, otherwise known as culture milk, in the traditional spelling of Old Norwegian. Just Surströmming, that's the Swedish thing. The other thing I was talking about is the Icelandic people with hakal, which is
So here's what he's talking about. This is the milk he's talking about.
Now,
I see it.
Before I continue, has everyone eaten for the day, or are you planning on eating continually?
I'm gonna do my usual and snack throughout.
I've already eaten breakfast, so I'm good.
I have chips at my side.
I will let it be then for now. Let me just say that it's a thing that we sometimes like just drink as it is. Usually, my family like as a side, like as a casual side drink alongside essentially like boiled balls of grated potato that are boiled balls of grated potato that is served with like salted lamb meat. Other than that, like you could use it like to have like oatmeal and stuff in as well. So you have like oatmeal instead of having milk with it, like or cereal. Then you have like a thicker, the thicker sour milk essentially. And but yeah, I don't think it is like exactly like one for one the same, because I've heard of a recipe. Oh, if you don't have buttermilk, just take milk and add like vinegar, and I don't think that is how they do it here in Norway. It's more of like a beneficial like bacteria thing, I want to say.
Oh, probiotics.
Probiotics.
Yeah, like essentially think like neutral yogurt, but more drinkable.
Okay.
But
all I can say is that every country is weird to some other country.
And the one that isn't is weird in of itself because it's not weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, how there's more than one pope per square mile in the Vatican.
I mean, I watched a guy eat whale meat.
I've honestly eaten whale meat. I can literally go downtown to one of the shops, grocery stores, and go to the frozen food section and pick up a literal block of whale beef.
Really? Huh?
Yes.
It's black.
As I will say this, as Strive says, cheers to anxiety. Everyone take a drink. It's 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓵.
I already did.
I forget how it tastes, but I do know like it's literally it has the reason why it's called whale steak, or whale 𝓵𝓊 is what we call it. But anyways, the reason why it's called whale steak is because it's quite literally looks like steak after you've cooked it, like texture wise. Well, maybe not. I think like if you give whale steak to like a seasoned like barbecue chef or something like that gets crusts and stuff, you get some wonderful things happening. But yeah, anyways, that's just me talking.
Well, consider the fact that we're talking about seafood related stuff. I still have no clue if I'm allergic to shellfish or of any kind.
Here's the thing about here's the thing when it comes to being like allergic to shellfish and such. honestly, it's not something that you should gamble on, because if you're allergic to it, your situation could end up turning dire. Essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Uh,
But
would
here's
suggest then getting an allergy test.
I intend
Yeah.
I intend to get a proper allergy test hopefully this year. But no, so there's actually a bit of a story as to why I'm still confused to this day as if I'm allergic to shellfish or not. And it was during the time when me, my brother, we were out with my father. It was on a extremely hot summer day, and we went going around, and we happened to hit up I want to say like a Walgreens or something. They had like this. We were walking about. We were doing a lot of running because we had to do a lot of errands during this hot day, and so we go up, we go around, and I'm already a little bit exhausted. And when we get to this vendor, they're doing like samples and whatnot. They have like random meats on the table, like cooked. They have cooked shrimp. They got the cooked chicken and whatnot. I was wanting, hungry because as a child, you really are just hungry almost 60% of the time. 40% of the time, you're just a little shit. So I
No,
tell
100% of the time you're just a little shit.
I'm talking about in terms of if you're a hungry little shit or if you're just a little shit in general.
No,
That's
you're
my
100% a shit in general.
Okay, fine. We'll go with that.
Don't compare apples to oranges.
No, I compare apples
Unless
to
it's a
bananas.
hybrid, well, that is between the two. anyways.
Exactly.
I mean, Data's just a shit. Wow, Debbie. Wow. Okay. To get to the point. So we get to there, and I ask Pop if I can, grab some of that, and he's like, yeah, sure, why not? I grab it, and I kid you not, after consuming that, it took like about 5 minutes before all of a sudden I feel myself becoming hard of breathing, because I fucking ate it. They were deveined, detailed. It was just shrimp. I didn't get the chicken. Fucking sad about that. But afterwards, I'm getting a bit hard of breathing, and I'm like, and they help me take some deep breaths, and I still am not sure if I was having trouble breathing because of how hot the day was, or because specifically eating the shrimp. And they swear up and down to this day, "Oh, you're not allergic to shrimp. You were just having problems from it being fucking hot." Got a fucking allergy test. I will this year, okay, Demi? I've already told Kage.
I pray that your allergist isn't an asshole like mine.
Yeah, didn't essentially say something to the regards of if you think you're allergic, just don't eat the thing or whatever?
Yes, that is typically what they say, but if you have food allergies and if they're severe enough to constrict your pipe, it's better to go get an allergy test.
Yeah, but you don't. So essentially, you basically have to say, "Well, I got a strong reaction, but I don't know what the hell to." So you sort of have to already be through it to be able, in order to be allowed it. Okay, that's kind of fucked.
Yeah. So Dane's reaction actually happened to my friend like 2 weeks ago, but he knew what the cause was.
Also, about the thing you just posted, Ghost.
Yeah.
I was curious because my eyes got caught in a DDR. So that is from the book Pathfinder Chronicles Dance Revolution, otherwise known as Dungeons & Denizens Revisited.
Great.
That's actually pretty awesome.
But yeah, no,
I would like to say remember.
a reason why that it's specifically an armor for animal companions, Dane.
Yeah.
Specifically owl bears.
Yeah, literally specifies all bears.
I see.
Is there a reason why you posted that to general, or?
No, I thought it was cool, so I posted it there.
Yeah. Strife mentioned it in the stream chat, and I assume he didn't want to interrupt the story.
Yeah, I was
so
just
he
looking at
posted it
stuff, so I just posted it there. So.
Also, to be fair, like with a thorny breastplate, that is just like a spiked breastplate with an added D8 instead of a D6 for the
Yeah.
thorns.
Okay, I found some you may want at some point. But your hand animal is already pretty insane, so you probably don't need it. I'm gonna post it in general.
But it has been a while since you've last heard ghosts talk. It's very nice.
But yeah, I've been on stream once I've D&D, so yeah.
But yeah, moral of the story,
I
everyone.
mean,
Get an allergy test. Know for sure what the hell you're allergic to.
to be fair, like there is a trick called Speak. That's a DC 25.
Oh, I saw that one. Yes. That'd
Yeah.
be great for Raw. That'd be great.
Yeah, considering how
Nah, I
how
agree, I agree.
intelligent he is.
Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind when you have animal tricks and you're thinking of speak, that is essentially just okay, make sound.
Oh, there's an incubation stuff? What?
Mm-hmm.
Made for owlbear eggs, huh?
Oh yeah, no, that.
Owlbear blind. There's a lot of owlbear stuff. What the heck?
To be fair, people always want the owl bear.
True. Owlbears are pretty good.
Yeah, and you have to raise them from an egg.
Yeah, you do. The magic ones you have to start very early, also wise, yeah.
I just realized something as well. I just remembered something as well. That video of like the tiny husky with the
Yeah.
lady going, "Speak, fuck." Good boy.
Also, to be fair, the companion is able to recognize and respond up to 2 specific questions per point of intelligence
Oh.
with Speak.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that that's more than likely more useful when it comes to like amulets of speak with animals and such.
Maybe.
I've just been buying stuff for the essentially right now.
You're right. There was something posted the other day that I really want more than an owlbear now.
What? Hippogriff Griffin? What? Oh, the owl.
They
owl thing,
posted an
yes.
owl dragon.
Yes, dragon.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yes, the ever mythical owl dragon. It hoots and burns with that beak of its.
I'm posting a link in your chat, Dane.
I'll be watching it.
Yes.
That's just the Discord one. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me copy it.
Oh, to be fair, it's already out there. They can click it if they want to. It's
Oh, no, I
specifically
know.
an image Discord link.
I actually want to see what this image is. I can't even see it.
Tried, man, he tried.
Also,
it's a download link. Oof.
Yeah, that is a
never mind
download
then.
link. It looks majestic as fuck, though.
Yeah. I want it.
I could get the. If you give me a moment, I could get the. I could get the link to the artist. Just fair warning, though. They do have. What was it? I want to say they have like a concept on their Twitter, or on the Patreon that's called. I want to say it was Nude Goblin Fridays.
Okay.
Most of the stuff that I post from that on Twitter, though, is censored, but it is still saucy.
True.
But yeah.
If you had to say censored, I'm quite worried as to what kind of art we're looking at here.
No. It's literally like, I mean, with something like Nude Goblin Fridays, it is what it sounds like. When I say nude, I mean butt naked nude. Not necessarily all in porny poses. Some could just simply be, okay, like, I'm Goblin, I'm just gonna run at you like with no clothing on, just rip your throat out. Anyways.
Sorry, D&D Beyond is asking if I want to accept their new cookies.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna hit it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter what kind of thing D&D Beyond makes. It's currently at no right now. Be it cookies, muffins. No, Demi, not D&D Beyond cookies. Those are at least poisoned by ticks, I would say.
There's 100 copper pieces in the silver or in a gold piece, right, sir?
It's 10-1.
It's 10, 10,
Yeah.
10, yeah. So it's 100.
Yeah,
It's 100
so
copper and a gold.
okay,
We do not
gotcha.
use Electrum for that exact reason.
Yeah, I don't know why Electrum exists, but
It's the 50-cent coin of gold.
yeah. Still, I don't know why they exist, man.
Wasn't the idea behind Electrum that like it'll make it so you can carry more high value currency like without going all the way up to platinum? It's like something more affordable than gold, but not as like mundane as silver.
Yeah.
Demi, go get something to eat. Lucian says it's a $50 bill. Well, you're right. It's definitely a $50 bill.
But yeah, there we have the link, and there we have a piece of the art for a slime that he posted alongside a joke that, because Watsy is taking people's stuff, then he can officially use this gelatinous cube as essentially first-party art.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you can sort of see when I say like when they do have like more loot stuff, but they have stuff censored that is not on the Patreon. It's essentially a honeypot to get people to donate, essentially. But yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Oh, that's
let's get to it, shall we? Or do you guys have something, some more things to get off your chest while I look for some appropriate music?
For me personally, I'm currently storied out. I don't have any other interesting stories other than self-harm, not
And as a sham.
other than harm stuff. What?
There we
I
go.
am not a sham. How dare you?
If you have no stories, then how are you gonna stream right after this?
For real.
Simple. I substitute my poor storytelling with video games. And then consistently dying and getting angry at it.
Yeah, let's do this one.
That's
okay.
Work, right?
I got a feeling what's gonna happen, so we're just gonna go with this music for right now.
Yeah, no, that's fitting music.
So let me set the scene before I let loose the Cerberus that is U3, the shadow-based Cerberus that is U3 at the moment. So after nighttime happened, you guys decided to continue, essentially leave town, continue towards like the direction of Eto, before setting up a camp again, because you did not want to essentially sleep in a graveyard. Because for those that wasn't here last time, be it through active essentially egging on or accidental mishaps or something like that, you could argue that the group last time was responsible for the entire town, this entire little desert side, stuck forever nomad town just sort of got killed by wisps, who may or may not have been their former children. So they just sort of packed up and started leaving towards Eto again. So I'm just gonna put you guys like 8 more miles down the road, before once again setting up the campfire bead and about to set up your tents. Let's say during when you are putting together the tents, first and foremost is Alvarez and
Zacharias, yeah.
Okay. So Alvarez and Zacharias, and also nearby would be, I want to say, just during this journey and setting up like shop, it would be Guag and Ulam.
Yeah.
No, says so.
the corgis, like usual, they just sort of go wherever they please. Last you saw them, they just sort of vanished from view and then wasn't seen from again. But then again, it's not the first time that has happened, so that's normalized. Probably shouldn't be normalized, but it's normalized.
It's normalized.
So before you know it, just sort of look around, and you don't notice 𝓓𝓪 or 𝓏𝓚 anywhere. I'm not gonna have Alvarez or Strife roll. Alvarez or Zacharias roll for will saves. I will, however, ask for Vivian to roll one, please.
Well, Duck, why is it always when I'm getting food
Yeah.
kitchen that you ask for
Because
things?
Because I'm needy and I have impeccable timing. That's why.
Well, no biscuits for you then.
Well,
Okay,
in
you.
that case, no pizza for you. I made a lot 2 days ago.
It's fine. I had 2 pizzas yesterday.
Okay, I apologize. I want some of that pizza right now.
What? So,
It's for me,
have failed
not for
today, I'm
you.
sorry. Negotiations have failed. The pizza is gone.
oh no.
The D&D tradition.
Well, that's not a success.
You
Yeah,
rolled
that's
twice.
funny.
What was the first one?
I was testing to make sure it showed up.
Well, the first thing you rolled is the first thing you rolled. I see an 11.
Oh, okay. I'll take a 22 then.
That's not going to quite.
That's wrong.
That is not going to be quite enough to grant you another tick on your thing.
Okay.
But I'm gonna do something to fuck the others up because I have figured out a new way of dealing them mental anguish without having them roll will saves.
Okay.
So how concerned is Alvarez and Zacharias when it comes? Well, Zacharias more than likely isn't nervous about it, but Alvarez, you knew that this whole like people vanishing in front of your eyes thing. Are you looking around, worried about like where they could have gone off to?
Actually, yeah, no, I have the common sense to kind of be wary about it.
Okay. So Vivian, you have since you poofed in the desert with the spiders, you have just sort of been floating around, literally invisible, like a ghost, just sort of been able to keep an eye and looking at what the rest of the party has been doing. So apart from that one point that happened to the others as well, where like your eyes sort of blinked out of existence, like for a what looked like hours, like I mean it was daytime outside, and then like a few seconds afterwards it went from black to just being nighttime, and then the whole unpleasantness with the wisps and such. Like throughout the entirety of that, you have been able to more or less float around within a certain, well, your usual 30 feet range, without being able to interact with your surroundings, but you've been able to see and hear everything.
Just gonna say this: the moment Zacharias appeared, I attempted to give him a hug. Did not succeed.
Didn't actually succeed.
Things have been shouted. They were not heard.
Are you currently shouting something right now?
No, but there's pure and utter anger on her face. As they just murdered an entire village.
And where, pray tell, are you currently positioned? Do you have a preference for where on the party you've been hovering, or are you just sort of just hanging around the 30
Probably
meter edge,
closer
30 feet
to
edge?
Zacharias or 𝓏𝓚.
Okay, so yeah, 𝓏𝓚, like you've looked around, and the others didn't necessarily notice when it happened, but you noticed that both 𝓏𝓚 and 𝓓𝓪 just sort of went into just sort of smoky dust and just sort of absorbed into the shadows of both Zacharias and
Chris.
Alvarez.
Oh,
Sorry.
Chris, be fair.
I'm not gonna have your all will save for confusion right now because I would honestly say you have other things on your mind that is occupying it at the moment.
You are absolutely correct.
So yeah, you're just sort of sitting there brooding, just glaring daggers at Alvarez. And could Zacharias give me a perception roll at the moment?
I'll do. Let's do prismatic dice.
Ooh, nice.
Well, that's not gonna be that high. Let's see.
Odd thing.
8 on the dice plus 16 total.
16 total. I would say 16 total would be enough to notice just someone sort of bobbing in your peripheral vision.
Until
you notice something start to move, around like the corner of you, like more or less, kind of behind your back, a little bit to the side. Alvarez, you notice this like from the moment it happens. You notice that something is starting to form close to Zacharias, and you're noticing that something is leaving your shadow. Like you're looking down, and you're noticing like you're currently working on the you're working by the campfire. You're looking around for Ulan and Guag. You're not seeing them, and you're noticing your shadow like goes from being like the regular dark one to being a bit more transparent than it usually is. And you're noticing it being sort of siphoned off in a different direction. And you look over towards Zacharias, where you see more or less the same is happening to his shadow, and just sort of a shadowy form is starting to form and taking more and more shape. While this is happening as well, like while it's not fully taking form yet, Zacharias also notices as just sort of this floating, very, very extremely disappointed and angry-looking Vivian just sort of, I would imagine just floating there, crossed legs and crossed arms, just sort of staring daggers at Alvarez as he looks around for the other two.
Hold on, I need to roll one more thing to that because I like that idea. I want to see which direction I am floating.
I'm gonna say this: you have not noticed that you have materialized again.
I'm actually just like floating, cross-legged on my side.
Yeah, so you
turn side 90 degrees.
You haven't noticed that you're physical yet. Well, not physical, that you're semi-physical yet.
I have not noticed that I can be perceived yet.
Yes, that is the proper wording of it. And because of seeing this, I'm gonna impose doubt upon Alvarez and Zacharias as you just sort of automatically gain saves in the shadows, as it were, because this is cough cough highly abnormal. Also, it's evidence towards other things, but that's for you to interpret, not me.
Yeah.
All right. I've marked down an instant save then.
I mean, I'm marking.
Yeah.
I have the saves of yours on my end, basically.
Yeah.
It's just only if you want to be like me and mark it down on your sheet.
I would like to mark.
I'm just saying, I'm not stopping you from doing it. I'm just saying, regardless, I do have the master sheet of the saves and such.
Cool.
Hey there, Vivian.
Glad to see you've joined us.
Oh, so you can see me now. Great.
Yeah, though you're sideways.
I was upside down earlier.
I like how you've been there like that. Well, I just saw you now, but...
Let's see. I tried to give you a hug, but... nothing.
Yep,
You guys started ignoring me around the spiders.
Spiders?
Yeah, you would know about the spiders. You heard the talk during the combat
Oh,
about
before I
about what they
yeah.
about what they saw and such. You didn't see the spiders yourself, but you heard speak of the spiders,
Mhm.
and you definitely heard the song that they produced.
Okay. Oh, those spiders.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Oh,
say ignoring, but I can understand the assumption. He says, as he's in the process of adjusting the logs in the campfire.
Well, if you've been there since then, I don't recall for between now and then, though.
No, that's when you guys stopped seeing me. I saw everything that you guys did. As I give a dirty look to Avarice.
Ah. That's interesting, because I remember you guys telling me before that... Oh, I heard everything from before, but I didn't see anything. You saw everything now.
Yeah, but you have to remember on the ship, the same thing happened to me, where I could hear everything, but I didn't see everything.
I suppose then... Oh, I experienced what you experienced from that point, but... Yeah.
By the way, Vivian has not righted herself.
Yeah, I figure she's still saying sideways.
I mean, Alvar's doing his best not to make mention of that.
What happened to the village was a bit regrettable, but from what I could gather from it, at least they were sacrificing children.
Yeah, which is not good, but you don't sacrifice the lives of an entire village in revenge.
True, the goal originally was not to drop the guy, as he looks at Alvarez.
And, you know, if you had listened to Olan and waited till the morning, maybe you could have found out things.
Perhaps.
Perhaps not.
And if not, you could have waited till the next night.
True. Though sleep wasn't quite an option in that village. Despite Ulan and Guag trying, the
Oh no!
defense of the night.
Guag succeeded. Trust me, he was snoring.
He was, but then he woke up from the sounds from the outdoors. As it was mentioned, perhaps sleeping through it, but the noises already woken us before, so...
You see
We
her
would have had
pinch
to
the
have
bridge of
left.
her nose.
Just to mention there that sleep wasn't entirely an option in that village.
Not at
But-
night, Ribbit.
Ah. Out of curiosity, since you said you were there, I used magic to see into the minds of the people. Did you see that too? Or were you unable to see that?
That's a question for the DM.
Let's resolve this. Actually, let's resolve this in a bit of a funky way, shall we?
Sure.
I feel tempted to ask for the will save, but just to make things more interesting, is there some other way you would like to? Is there something you would have tried to have done to like when you're noticing that he's sort of like looking and just sort of focusing on this mind and stuff and seeing this spell, but is it something that Vivian would have tried to do other than like just trying to like see what happens? Would have done something actively instead of just let it happen passively.
I would have tried to identify what the spell was. I mean, I do have a 7 in spellcraft, so it's
In
only
that
like a
case,
19.
In that case, give me a retroactive spellcraft check, as you would have
Okay.
cast detect magic and sort of interacted with his.
Come on, dice, don't fuck me. You fucked me.
How many threes? So 10 total.
Just saying, I would have liked a 3 on the D4. A 3 would have been upside down.
Yeah,
That
that'd
is
been
fair,
fun.
that is fair.
That would have been fun.
Okay, just
Yeah,
saying,
so-
it's time to change dice.
But yeah, okay. I would say because of the active attempt, actually no, let's leave it up to chance as well. Give me another d20 for will save.
Okay, give me a moment. Getting back to my sheet.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. As I said, I had to change my dice.
Trader dice, you know.
I'm just hungry for the saves, is all.
Yeah, I'm hungry for them too. It works out.
16.
Yeah, no. So you would not have shared the glimpses. So no.
But would I have understood the people because of Ulan?
I'm gonna say because of the fact that you were in the shadows, then yes, you would have understood everything that the people were saying.
Well, I didn't see what you saw when you used your spell. But I did understand everyone. Ribbit.
I see. Well, even though you're around to reiterate for it, I had seen visions of the people from their memories going to the edge of the village of what appeared to be children or young people over and over again as time went on.
You did also see like straight up like the image of a mother looking back at a
Yeah.
spindle with a child and just laying on the sands, walking away.
Yeah, even a baby being essentially sacrificed to the edge of whatever the threat was. And as we saw the actual balls of light and got closer to it, we saw the children there, but...
Oh no, I saw the children
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
I couldn't just see what you were seeing with your spell.
I was seeing their memories of their... what I was pretty sure was sacrifices, at least. But yeah.
Yeah.
And as Lon mentioned before, there was no asking for forgiveness in their voices. It was just them justifying what they said. So it would have been better for them not to have died that way. Certainly. In a way, it is... well, it could be viewed as justice for the children.
Good. But it took the lives of all of them.
And it did. I did not think that would have caused all of them to attack. I thought at worst they would come after the one person. So that part was unforeseen for certain. And I was expecting to have a chance to get the person away, but it seems once we brought them out, there was no going back at that point. So Lon was right that we probably should have waited to learn more for it, but part of me thinks at least it's better that children's spirits are free.
Mm-hmm.
At least in one way.
Also, as I turn back to Alvarez,
He who's just been currently staring into the fire for the time being.
You looking guilty as fuck.
Guilty as fuck. No, I'm just. He's listening.
No, yeah, you're listening, but you are actively avoiding eye contact. Look,
Let's make you
specifically
look
not
more
looking
guilty.
in the direction of the people. That's what I'm saying. You're looking guilty as fuck by not actively visually interacting with this situation. By public norms, you are acting.
Fair.
You're acting
suspicious
sus.
through-
You're
You're
acting
acting
sus.
sus. You're acting pretty sus right now, Jane. Well, Alvarez.
I don't appreciate what you said about me.
I mean, to be fair, this is more like an emergency meeting than anything else, but oh well.
Did many things. Which part are you talking about? Says as he.
Death stare. Paladin death stare.
I feel tempted to say roll for emotional damage.
Psychic damage. Ooh, that was a good roll.
He continues to adjust the logs using his pickaxe.
I mean, you do know that you do know that the bonfire is magical. It's a bead, right?
Yes.
I feel very tempted to have you roll a random use magic device to see if you activate it again and just sort of make it plops away.
Be hilarious.
Anyways, moving on.
You can't comprehend what I've seen. Even Zacharias here is only just learning of the early stuff that I saw.
He'll stop messing with the logs to look up and actually towards her.
Paladin does stare still.
Yeah, he doesn't care about that.
Just mentioning it.
In a sense, that is understandable. Fortunately, with the current circumstances, I really could care less as to what you have seen. And I care more about what you have done. What you have done, it still currently have not been forgiven.
Does that mean I shouldn't forgive you to what you did, or for what you did to that village?
I wouldn't ask you for forgiveness for that. Their fates was already written in the stars. One way or another.
Bullshit.
One way or another, they would have died. I just think it's better that the children got their revenge.
There could have been another way. A better way, where they all got to live. And maybe finally get to bury their dead.
Bury their dead. What dead in that village of only adults?
He said
We-
something in a language neither of you understand.
Sounds about
Yeah.
right.
I need your permanency comprehend languages at this point.
I'm sorry?
I need your permanency comprehend languages at this point.
No, even with comprehend languages, you wouldn't have understood it.
Oh, okay, it's that one. Okay,
Yeah, it's that one.
got you.
I guess you remember that one now.
I mean, it was still in Gripply. But yeah.
Well, I'm saying just the old world language before was lost to you, but when you turned incorporeal, it came back to you.
Yeah. going off to bed. Since you did something, you two will need some rest. Go ahead and get it.
Alvarez will slightly scratch the side of his cheek. Be hard to rest with this spell still affecting us.
No, Dane, the moment that you carried someone, that spell went off.
Enough.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
moment that you
or
do
I
anything
think-
strenuous,
Yeah.
that spell goes off.
And carrying a whole body, even between two people, is strenuous. That's for sure.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Also, to be fair, you did travel for a time, so that
Yeah,
as well, I would say,
we
would
did.
argue that would have ruined it essentially.
But then again, I don't have the spell, so I don't do it. Okay.
Well,
Cast
you
before,
didn't do
come
it.
on, man.
It was Zacharias that did it. It was
Yeah, I
he
did
bought
it.
spell slots. You owe him now for the spell casting service.
Yeah, I used all my first level, so I don't even have any more keep watches at this point.
I don't really use spells in combat.
To be
So I
fair,
got
I don't use much either, honestly. That's why I was like, okay, I can be willy-nilly with first level spells. I just use comprehend languages and keep watch anyway, so...
Very well then.
Honestly, you really should get either comprehend languages or tongues permanency'd on you.
Yeah, it'd be useful for sure.
I want to
Yeah,
say
man.
weird.
It would be a good idea to
does
get some rest.
Does
Oh.
tongues allow you to? Yeah, tongues allow you to speak.
Tongues
into
allows you to
sound,
speak.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comprehend, just understand.
Yeah, but
Oh, but he wouldn't be able to do it because you have to. You have to. It's self only, so you could get comprehend language. Oh,
No, tongues is
No.
touch. Creature touched. This
Yeah,
spell
tongues
has
you could.
Creature touch, the ability to speak.
But there's
into sound
also-
languages of any intelligent creature.
I believe there's a helm of comprehend languages already as a mouse guide. Let me double check.
yeah, I think there is too.
I believe
can
that
be
does
made
exist.
Tongues can be made permanent with permanency. It's a touch spell.
Yes, there is a helms of comprehend language
yes.
and read magic.
But it says in permanency that it can only be done by self only.
Yeah, but tongues is a touch spell. It's a creature
Yes.
touched, not a self.
What? This isn't even that expensive, actually. Wow. I'm gonna post it in general.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me.
It's only 5K.
I feel tempted. Tongues is wait, why is tongues is self only?
Yeah, exactly. Do you see why?
Huh? That's
Why
strange.
Is it why is it a self only when tongues to spell is a range of touch?
What?
Yeah, tongues to spell is a range of touch, and then, huh?
It sounds like you're gonna homebrew that to be possible.
Yeah.
No. I mean, part of me was saying like I feel tempted to pump up the requirement, like the cost requirement for tongues, just because of how much in group secrecy there is, like language based. That's what was
Yeah.
outside of it, and also there is the fact that tongues is level 11.
It takes a while to get there.
I mean, if anything, I feel tempted to say I feel tempted to make it a self others, but raise the minimum caster requirement, making it a bit harder to get.
Yeah, you can always
I mean,
workshop it. It's far off right now.
Is he invisible? That's personal as well. I'm sorry. This is rather
Peculiar,
bugging
yeah.
me now. Yeah, because dark vision is also okay. So it must be so this is something that is. I want to say this is something that's done on purpose, because dark vision is also a a creature touch spell. So with permanency, it's specifically so that you can't have it cast upon yourself. Now, to be fair, there is a way around it, but the way around it is that you're gonna have to get a scroll of permanency tongues and cast it yourself, which is gonna be, which means that you're gonna need to have a 15 intelligence when you're casting the spell, as well as
Rip.
emulate a higher level. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be.
It's on my tongue's on my spell list either way, so eventually, you know.
Yeah, but permanency isn't. Permanency is.
Oh, permanency isn't. Yeah, true.
Yeah. Well, as a wizard, magic subdomain, or magic right subdomain, astral bloodline, or time mystery. So you're gonna have to emulate a 11th level spellcaster essentially.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I mean, to be fair,
As I look at my CHA there,
the person creating the spell needs to be at least level 11. But I want to say that it doesn't say like level requirement for casting it. It just says you need to have the required ability scores in order to like activate it, unless otherwise. So yeah, that's going to be like a 25 maybe DC for like activating a scroll of permanency tongues. And it's going to be like 8,000 to 8,000 per attempt.
yeah.
So yeah, good fun. I'm saying there's a way for you to get tongues permanency,
Yeah,
but yeah.
there's a way.
You two get some rest. I'll take the first watch.
I don't need you to take watch. I just need you to rest.
Works for me.
Would like to sense motive on that.
Okay, no opposed. Just sort of roll me, and let's see what happens, I guess. You sense no ill intent.
You
Or-
sense that her tone is just that she's pissed at you.
Yeah, like you sense hostility, but no ill intent. Like she is definitely angry with you, but there is nothing like she does not mean you like harm by telling you go to sleep. She's just telling you get some rest. You're gonna need it.
So clearly, I won't. So clearly, I detect that she won't slit my throat while I'm asleep.
Yeah, I mean, if that,
No
if that's what you're
offense, but I could not slit your throat if I wanted to with my longsword.
Though, to be fair, you could do a single. You could activate Ghost Touch with a coup de grace, so there's that.
True.
Slit throat,
But then
no,
I'd also
head,
have to take off
yes.
merciful.
Well, you don't have to take off merciful. Just sort of deactivate the effect of it, which means that it will still be a +3 weapon. It will still be a +2 weapon, but it's just it doesn't have merciful active at the time.
Yeah.
Just because the enchantment isn't active doesn't mean it's not magical.
Very well then.
I guess keep watch on myself.
Zacharias makes his tent and goes to bed.
Alvarez makes a tent and heads to sleep.
Well, finishes making attempts, but yeah.
Yeah.
You were already in the process of making them before you got distracted. But yeah, so the night passes relatively uneventfully. I don't know if any of you like speak in your sleep or something like that. Guilty conscience, whatever. But from outside sources, there appears to be nothing untowards happening towards the campsite. So the morning rolls around, and yeah, what do you guys want to do? Want to continue going towards Eto, or do you want to divert the course and try to look at some flower beds?
The only flowers are where I revived Reap.
She means Lamashtu's flower.
Oh.
To be fair, I did say basically the only things that are on this map right now is just the towns and such.
Okay.
Tepu, Ani, Wati, Eto, Sothis. I wouldn't say like out of all of these, like maybe one thing you would know about is like maybe like the names like the Swirl of Ghż'rai, the Sphinx Delta, Crook, Pillar, the Pillar of the Sun.
River Spring.
Some-
Okay.
Yes, Scarab River. I want to say Glazing Sheets. I'm unsure if that would be on for the sake of it remaining interesting. Let's say that the Glazing Sheets is not on the map.
Okay.
But apart from that, like anything that is circular, except I forget. There's one of these which is like essentially like a monster outpost. I forget which one of them, but essentially like the top towns like over here and here and here, like all of those are on the map.
Okay.
Place names are all on the map as well. The locations, like the diamonds or whatever, not all of those are.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we'll go to Edo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vivian, roll me a perception check for the night.
And this is the true reason why you should not let Vivian go on watch.
Her low is.
Oh, I rolled decent.
Oh, nice, nice.
That's a 19.
19.
Mhm.
Now's my question. Now's my question to Dane. Do you allow yourself to be sort of noticed, or do you want to try to hide your deeds?
Obviously, attempt to hide.
Okay, in that case, roll me a stealth unless you have. I suppose roll me a. I suppose roll me a stealth to not get to sort of slink away and not get noticed. I would say sleight of hand, but I don't think you can do what you're planning on doing with sleight of hand.
Yeah. That would be a 12. I do not beat her.
Okay, so here's what happens. So Vivian is... I'm not going to have you completely caught in the act. So Vivian is kind of keeping watch, and she just sort of hears a loud crack coming from right behind her. Also right behind, like the edge of the campfire.
I turn around and look.
So you see that Alvarez is currently like sitting with his back against you, looking towards like outside, like facing the outsides of the outskirts of the little camping circle. Then again, it's more like a camping triangle, I suppose. But then again, it's more like a line because there's only 2 tents. Regardless, he's facing away from the campfire with his...
Raw is a point.
Oh yeah, raw. There we go.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when it comes to like tents and such. You have tent,
That's
campfire, tent. It's Orion's belt of campfire of
Orion's
camping
built
grounds.
Okay, well, I'll go up behind him.
Are you preoccupied with what you're doing, Alvarez, or do you? I suppose you can't hear, but like, do you turn around? You like try to get back to bed, or are you trying to clean up, or what are you doing?
Yes, I have common decency. I would attempt to clean up before heading back to bed.
Welcome, Venom.
Okay, so you catch Vivian. You catch him in the act of cleaning up. What do you do, or how do you go about doing this? You still just see his back at the moment.
Oh my god, the chaotic part of me wants to do something so fucking creepy.
Unfortunately, the lawful side, maybe.
I know, I need the lawful side. I can't just go up to his ear and say, "What you doing?"
I would just have boot, but.
Hey, ask what you're playing.
The downside to
That
playing lawful characters,
would
you
be
can't
hilarious.
do that. It would be hilarious.
It would be super fucking funny.
Yeah, but lawful. I'll let him finish, but I am still behind him.
So you're just sort of floating there without saying anything, just sort of watching.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see him starting to like brush something off of himself, and it definitely looks like some sort of... It kind of glistens in the morning sun. It's kind of like blackish and sort of shiny a little bit. If you didn't know any better, it kind of looked like black ash or something similar to that. And as he finishes up and sort of ruffles the sand a bit, he turns around. Actually, roll me a D1, roll D100 to see how well you clean up not Deanra, Dien. The Dien character, which is the name of Alvarez.
Alvarez.
Roll me a D100 to see.
That's
how
why I call him Avarice. It's easier.
Alvi.
48.
Okay, yeah. Say you're not completely you did a bit of a rush job essentially. I mean, it's to the casual observer, maybe not, but if falling under scrutiny, yeah, you're gonna get caught.
I mean,
Alvarez the chipmunk, yes.
Fuck off. To be fair, it's more or less so he can get back to his morning prayer, aka a spell allotment.
Yeah, so you turn around, like, get your stuff, and like get around with the prayer, and you turn around and you're face to face with the scrutinous eye of the Paladin on watch, as you still have speckles of soot, not soot, of speckles of black, sort of interspersed, like just sort of on your clothing.
Can I help
What
you?
you doing?
Preparing myself for the journey.
With black soot
Don't forget the loud sound.
and a loud sound?
Thank you.
Some old rations. It's gonna be a long journey to Ito.
I've been very tempted to say roll me a bluff check because of that, and it's gonna be with a penalty.
Oh no, I'm definitely trying to bluff.
Yeah,
Old
that's
Zero.
rations. Old
just-
rations.
You just roll, and I'm gonna go and check to see how much of a bonus Vivian gets if she wants to sense motive on
A
that.
+4.
Just one moment,
Old rations, jeez.
you're gonna have a bigger bluff than that. Now, I'm gonna say, because of the fact that, I'm not gonna say it's an impossible lie. I'm not gonna say it's an impossible lie, but I would definitely say that it's far-fetched. Given the fact you talk about rations here, the stuff that is, like, already dried.
Yeah, it would
Last
not
I
be black
checked-
dust unless you're burning it.
Yeah, so essentially, this is going to be an impossible fail because it's a -10 to bluff with a far-fetched lie. So your total result, Alvarez, was a 0.
Oh my god. Total result 0.
That is an automatic. That is an automatic success in sense motive.
Yeah, because even if I roll a 1, it's a 5.
Yeah, if you roll a 1, it's greater than 0.
Yeah.
This isn't just for reference for those who may or may not be familiar with Pathfinder. This is not 5e. There are no such things as critical failures on skill checks. Even if you roll a 1, it just means you roll a 1. It means that you get you don't have that, like, you're in the lower end of what you usually can do.
No, I understand. That's why I said, even if it was a 1, which is the lowest I can roll,
I'm just talking
it'd
to the
still be a
pupil.
5.
Can I just mention how Alvarez looks aside from the soot as he's telling the
Go
lie?
for it.
Yeah.
He does not look at all afraid or fazed at the fact that she's staring at him. And the fact that he's lying straight to her face is just more or less him just not respecting her.
Now, Alvarez, tell me the truth.
Heavens, what do you want to hear?
I said the truth.
Many things I could say could be the truth.
You can handle the truth. I'm sorry.
You can't handle the truth.
Want the truth? Look behind me, he says as he goes to pretty much walk past her and get back to his prayers and also get his armor on.
As he basically walks through me, I like to turn around and cast Detect Evil.
You don't even need to detect evil. You smote my ass, bitch.
I was not in my right
it-
mind, therefore I don't
it's
know
a
that I
good-
smote your ass.
It's a good. I would say this is an important thing because Because for your thing, Dane, you need to like re-up that every day, right?
It lasts for 24 hours, so I can easily just
Yeah.
recast it whenever I please within the 24-hour period. Since I
And I would
casted it
argue
yesterday,
because- I would argue because this like it is later in the day than when you woke up yesterday because of the escapades of because of the escapades. Like you
So
guys
it
didn't get
is-
to sleep technically until later.
Yeah.
So yes, it is currently up. So Vivian keeping an eye on Alvarez will notice that he goes from being detecting as evil to not detecting as evil anymore, essentially.
Sneaky fucker.
Meanwhile, Bach's in the background. Boof, boof, boof.
I'll actually go look at what he buried.
Basically, what you see is there's a whole bunch of black soot. Could you roll me an intelligence check for to remember, or would like to get an inkling of what this is? Actually, you know what? What would you like to roll? Actually, never mind. No. We know this. We know this. Roll me a knowledge religion.
Neat. I have that. Is this Galarian or other?
Your choice.
Okay, we're gonna go Galarian then. Good job, 17.
Good job.
17. So, I would say what you're looking at is you're just sort of sifting through. Just sort of taking your sword and sort of batting at the floor. Just sort of every once in a while, just sort of shifting the sands around, and you're noticing like more of these black patterns. You don't see anything that is like whole or physical or like a chunk. But if you didn't know any better, like looking at this, like it very much feels like some. I mean, you recall having smacked into a skeleton once in a while and like just having the bones just shatter into dust. So this to you feels very much like a crushed like a crushed head of like a blackened bone or something like that. You can't tell what it was. It looks like bone dust.
Cool.
But yeah, more than that is difficult to infer, at least just from looking at it. From here on, you have to draw your own conclusion, essentially.
Fucker cast a spell. That's my conclusion. Considering it was religion, it was a divine spell.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I was about to keep in mind you can also, oh, goodness me. I was about to say, keep in mind that you could also try to detect like if a spell was cast in the area.
Cannot do that, good sir.
Spellcraft can do that, but you don't have detect magic anymore.
Nope,
Not for today.
not for today.
But yeah,
Both of you
so
ready?
what you want to do?
I don't know, are you ready to tell the truth?
Truth of what? He says as he's in the process of stretching.
Of the spell you were casting over here. The crushed, charred, blackened bones.
I'm gonna turn to look at her, and despite his face being mostly obscured by his hood, he's gonna look at her perplexed. You think I cast a spell? There.
I know you cast one as you left.
I cast one after I left you, yes. But I didn't cast one beforehand.
Oh, I know what you cast after you left me.
Alright. But I didn't cast anything beforehand.
Then what did you mix in with the sand?
This represents a sweat drip from the face of the lying Albie. Fuck off, whale duck.
You know exactly what GIF I'm referring to.
I know the GIF. It's great.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
know.
great GIF.
Do you really think you can handle what I'm about to tell you then?
Of course.
He's gonna look first to see if Zacharias is already up and about.
Oh, yes, he's up with his mask on.
He'll then look to Vivian before he soon says, "That is the skull of the creature who killed Reap."
What were you doing with it?
Atoning for my sins. And for me to atone, I need to make sure I inflict the proper divine punishment to those who deserve it.
Okay. Kage's gotta do research.
Okay. Oh, see, by the way, thank you for your sacrifice, Elvis. Being in the wrong direction so I can get my thing up.
Hey, no problem, man.
Thank you for your sacrifice. I was waiting to see if Adrian kept pushing me off stairs.
Well, that's not how you do an atonement spell.
No, it's not. I don't do that spell. It is my own personal sin I am working for.
I just want to kick in here for a moment and say that when it comes to atonement, that is essentially asking forgiveness of a deity or something like that. Keep in mind, atoning has more meaning than just a spell.
No, I understand that. I understand that out of character. Vivian has had to have the atonement spell cast several times on herself.
I'm surprised she hasn't had to cast in this campaign with us. We've been surprisingly neutral for the most part.
Well, to be fair, it's a bit of a special.
Yeah, it's also been special. We've also been surprisingly neutral.
Yeah.
Well, there's no atonement like a god's atonement. Your own atonement doesn't matter.
That may be so, but I prefer to atone in my way towards my own deed.
Which one is that?
Everett stares her down before he will then say, "My deity in the modern day, Solid. That is who I serve. That is to whom I dictate my purpose toward."
What's the name, sorry?
Lissala.
Lissala.
Yeah.
I'll type it out.
Thank you.
Lissala. Can I remember this since I came out in the middle of all this stuff?
I mean, I would imagine you could have heard like the tail end of it, essentially.
Alright. So I kind of want to see if I know anything about that deity or not. Okay. Nope, my intelligence drain is still screwing me.
Yeah, no, that it would. Hold on a second. Did I just hear someone else?
Hold on, I probably have to do it as well.
There is a bun in the group, just sort of chilling.
Yeah.
Come on.
The dogs are barking in the background. We're just having a pissing contest right now.
Only Zachariah said popcorn.
Okay, that's a 22. So, maybe.
A 22. 22, 22, 22. Let me just check out the knowledge DCs and such. Okay. So, I'm assuming you're using your Galarian religion for this.
Yes, it would not have been that high if it was the other religion.
So two different things come into mind for you. The very first thing that comes into mind, is the symbol of a 7-pointed star. And you immediately flash back to seeing this symbol basically almost all over in the Thessalonian ruined city of 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓛. You know it to be a symbol of essentially like the Thessalonian Empire, and that it has a strong connection to, well, the seven. Oh, what's the word?
Yeah,
Seven virtues of rule, which rune magic is based upon.
7 deadly sins.
Well, you say 7 deadly sins. It started off because the high roll. It started off as the 7 virtues of rule, but was later perverted into the 7 deadly sins, which are the basis for the evil sin magic, also known as rune magic, essentially. Now, you get that flash up for a picture, but then you also have 2 different points of view at it. Essentially that it used to be a symbol of virtue, but in modern day has more started to look upon much like the rune magic itself. It started off as being virtuous and then drifted more and more towards modern day as essentially a symbol of evil. Back in the day, it used to be just simply used to be a deity of knowledge, law, nobility, and runes. Back in like ancient Aslan days, obscure knowledge just sort of drifting to you. But in modern day, it has drifted from a lawful neutral side to more of a lawful evil side.
Deep ribbit.
Oh. It just depends how she thinks of the timelines Kieran passed.
Are you a Thessalonian?
He goes silent for a moment as he closes his eyes, standing there for a moment before he shakes his head. Not a full-blooded Thessalonian. I would say.
Her frog eyes narrow.
I am what people call ASMR.
Ribbit. I wasn't asking your race. I was asking your heritage, Ribbit.
Culturals would be a very apt word to use in this moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Culturals.
Yeah.
I guess I see, yes.
You realize how out of time you are right now? Ribbit.
What? It's dawned on me ever since Magnemar.
We never met you in Magnemar.
I'm not talking about when I met you in Magnemar.
I will just mention this. Like, you have recollection of having met these people in Magnemar, yes. I will say that you haven't gotten enough of the picture to, like, get the whole... maybe dawns upon you just now. But I would say up until at least this moment, I would say you haven't necessarily thought about it much, the whole, like, time displacement thing.
Okay, so let me recorrect my statement then. It has dawned on me. The way those priests back in 𝓮𝓵𝓙 acted when I was trying to look for information of 𝓲𝓪 is what ended up causing me to stay inside the inn for your current job.
What are you gonna do when we get to Edo?
Do what I normally do. Find out the law, find out information. Do my best to maintain good relations unless things need to change. For me personally, the one thing I can't stand is those of a chaotic nature.
Yet you can stand 𝓮𝓼?
I can stand 𝓮𝓺 and reap because they're at the very least manageable. Creatures made of chaos, such as that skeleton, those are creatures I wish to see dead. Nature of living creatures can be changed accordingly depending as how they act. Creatures like that, however, that are made with that intent, though, cannot, as such, need to be destroyed. You're worried about me turning some random tailcoat and destroying a very lawful town, unlike the previous town that we were in. Don't have to worry about that.
You have no information about the previous town we were in. Only that you murdered all of its denizens.
Only because they participated in child sacrifice, from what 𝓬𝓐 has told us.
However,
when you participate in child sacrifice, no amount of forgiveness will save that soul.
And then they should be judged in the afterlife. We are not the judge, the jury, or the executioner. Well, I'm the executioner. You're not.
No, I am.
Not to interrupt in this debate here, but we're not exactly the live and let be type from our past. The creatures may not always be human, but we certainly are judge, jury, and executioner to many. Just to add on that small detail.
Thank you, 𝓬𝓐.
The Paladin Death Glare moves over to 𝓬𝓐 for a second.
Hey, he's being honest. Think about it. Your code dictates you cannot harm your family, correct?
Yes.
How many families have we destroyed in our time together?
Only one, actually.
Goblins, kobolds.
Only the kobolds in her eyes. She didn't destroy the goblins. Y'all did.
True. Wait, she killed one or two, didn't she? I thought she... Or did she not kill one or two? Okay.
No, she
No,
knocked
not
out a
lethal.
couple. We murdered the rest.
If you got knocked out and then 𝓮𝓺𝓷 just sort of did a spin kick and just turned one of its heads backwards.
Ah.
Exactly. Well, regardless, you won't have to worry about the next town of that happening again.
Good. Wouldn't want that to happen, Ribbit. Come on, Ra. We're going.
Oh, also just a side note for something that happened earlier. For the thing of the shadows going into Vivian and stuff, only Dane saw that, right?
No, you would have you would have caught it essentially like mid transformation.
Okay, and since I heard the conversation with Shadow before, he's also just gonna mention as we're gonna go. By the way, Vivian, when you came forth, shadows came from our friends to you.
For a bit.
From Guag and
now roll me will save, Vivian.
Yeah, so even I recall that. A part of my shadow apparently went to where you formed.
Oh gosh! Y'all are fucked! That's a 15!
That is enough.
Every time we watch you roll high, every time.
Let me just go and double check the DC for schizophrenia. I want to say you keep your composure. No, never mind. No, you don't.
No, I don't.
Oh,
that's a DC 16. Yeah, never mind.
One off, really? Jeez.
Yeah.
Man.
One off.
Okay, time to roll a d6.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
No, the d6 is to be how many rounds I'm confused for.
Yes,
okay,
it is.
gotcha.
Only
one.
one.
Round again. Okay.
Oh, come on, man.
Now roll me a D100.
Okay. I need to get to the right thing. Oof, I think that's me attacking someone again.
That is what I was hoping for.
Oh, yeah, how many
honestly what I was hoping for,
times?
because at the mention of this, you just sort of start there, just sort of, like they see your eyes just sort of go wide open, as you just sort of start babbling incoherently. Just sort of holding your head and sort of keeling over, just for slightly comedic effect, just sort of slightly spinning around in midair.
Fair.
As you are just sort of, you lose your composure and just sort of start, just retelling whenever weird stuff's happened. Like you start retelling like what you were seeing when Azrae died and got resurrected as a 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓚. You start retelling when you saw Charon turn into a blobby, shadowy thing. And you also start remembering basically every other time when like people just sort of blipped out of your eyes, turned into shadows, and just sort of vanished away. You don't hit anyone this time, but you are just sort of floating around like that.
You'd see Vivian stop. And just start spitting.
Spinning?
Yeah, just sort of holding her head and sort of losing composure of how she's holding herself. And then that goes on for like... I know it says 1 round, but I would imagine like 6 to 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Just sort of that happens, and just sort of you slowly just start composing yourself again, slowly.
Right there.
Bit.
Vivian?
She's lost her mind again. He's talking in ribbits. Well, like Guag was here, he could translate, right?
Well, he could. But
For the sake of progress, I'm gonna say that babble was in common.
No, the babble wasn't common, and she's just, while calming herself down, she's in ribbits.
Just croaking.
And she's
Yes.
croaking. He isn't responding to us properly, so that conversation happened.
Vivian? Try to get a hold of yourself, Vivian. I forget, Kage, I need to ask this quick.
Mm-hmm.
For the frog statue she saw, was that like, when she saw it back then, was it a good thing or a bad thing in how she was reacting?
Good thing.
Zacharias will take out a sketch of the statue and just hold it in front of her. Focus, Vivian. Just focus on this.
She'll take it out of her bag, and it's now incorporeal, or it's incorporeal still.
Just focus your mind on it.
Grounding one's conscience is a good way to get to clear your mind.
That ribbit had a different tone and inflection in it.
Oh, I didn't even hear that.
I didn't hear that from you.
Goddamn microphone.
Yeah, no, man, it sucks.
I see Will is just enjoying some popcorn right now with this.
Of course.
I'm surprised, man.
I'm just letting you guys be you. I'm just letting you guys be you.
I'm just gonna hold the frog. And then in ribbits, you hear her say something to Ra. And he just starts going forward.
Alvarez will look to Rias and bow his head a bit. Essentially, he's just saying, good work.
He nods. I take a Fra going forward. She's having him lead her. So just go Fra.
All after Rias and Frog.
I'm basically just letting them drag me.
Yeah.
Well, Raj dragging us.
I know, someone has to give directions to Ra.
Oh,
Hang on,
who's rolling survival?
Well, here's the thing. Because Ra's walk. Did you just tell Ra to just walk?
Yeah, basically.
Now here's the question: does either Alvarez or Zacharias like go on ahead and like walk in front of Ra?
Personally, I would
the
recommend.
map. So the person who has the map, I would say.
I'm not asking you to strategize. I'm just asking you, like, with this current situation, would you walk in front of Ra, or would you just sort of hang back?
Personally,
Probably on the side.
That was both of you speaking at the same time.
I'll go first, Drive.
Okay.
Personally, I would like for Rias to walk in front because that'd be more hilarious. Because I doubt Vivian would be happy with Alvarez in front today.
So you're not gonna step in front.
I ain't stepping in front of that frog.
What about you, Zacharias? What do you want to do? Do you want
I don't have a map or know which direction we're going, so I'd just be walking alongside Ra.
Here's the funny thing, Vivian has the map.
I would have Ra give me a survival check.
Okay.
And just because I got my
Right,
inklings, roll me a D8 as well.
Oh my god. Back to the village, guys. Back to the village.
Oh no.
Back to the
I'm
village.
No. I'm gonna do something else.
That's a
Just
6, good sir.
Just because that was a 1, I know I said there's no such thing as like critical
fails.
fails with skills, but I feel this is so very tempting. So I'm gonna have you guys end up essentially here. Right by 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓵 flower.
Oh, okay.
So, here's a question. Who here knows 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓵 just by hearing the name?
Hi.
Probably Zacharias. Probably.
No. I'm asking about you guys as players.
Oh, players. Yes, I know 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓵.
𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓵 is a bit of hit or miss with me.
I mentioned Tigwak,
So-
his goblin, so I know 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓵.
So basically, 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓵 is like one of the ones that you could say like, oh, like you want to have like a generic evil like generic evil monster goddess, like to just be your villain. That is 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓵. 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓵 is the mother of monsters. she is essentially like when you're thinking of people just sort of deforming into monstrous beings, that is very much might be because of the influence of 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓛𝓲𝓷𝓴𝓼. Now, I'm not going to be as mean as to say that you find yourself in the center of 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓛𝓲𝓷𝓴𝓼's flower. I'm just going to say because of proximity, fun stuff is going to happen.
Okay.
Hey, I'm down for some fun stuff.
We sacrifice
I
all of
just
them,
hope
got
that
it.
I can manage to.
Oh no, we
I just
sacrificed
hope
raw
that I can
strife.
manage to have
Uh,
fun stuff happen.
the
Eventually.
fuck you do?
Okay. So you guys are going sleeping today. I would very much love for what's the word? Yeah, everyone, please roll me a will save. Ra included.
Prismatic dice it is.
Digital dice it
Ooh.
is.
17 on the dice. What's my bonus?
23.
Vivian got a 25.
I got 26 total.
Okay, and Ra.
I think we all did
Got
well on
a
our will save.
15.
Alright.
He only has a
15.
+3 will.
That's fair. It's
Okay.
an
Ah. Yeah, so Ra does not manage to get sleep tonight. He can't sleep. I would say you don't necessarily notice that until you wake up in the morning. But all of you are plagued with nightmares. All of you appear to be having the same sort of it's the same sort of a theme. You find yourself just sort of walking through like a very dimly lit garden, and you sort of hear snarls, and it starts off by you hearing like snarls and like barking and howling, and all sorts of like scary animal noises just coming from the edge of it. And it just keeps on progressing in tenseness, and it ends like before you wake up the next morning. You do end up before you wake up the next morning, like after your rest. You essentially end up getting chased through your dreams by monsters of all shapes and kinds and monstrous beings, while you just hear a hideous gargled laughter just ever in the background. If you're sitting up and keeping watch, like if one of you is just like personally like sitting up all night instead of taking shifts, this would take form in like a waking dream, just sort of a vision just happening in front of your eyes as you're just sort of sitting there watching the fire, just watching the fire turn into, like just you're watching the fire turn into, at some point like turn into like a wolf's maw and just sort of gnashing at you and stuff like that. You suffer the real effects of it. Ra is fatigued because of sleep deprivation, but yeah, like, you all don't suffer any negative consequences except for the bad dreams, essentially.
Okay.
And you have no recollection for why. I mean, you have no like logical explanation like why have a nightmare right now.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to be like connected to the previous day or like a previous happening. Like you don't recall like the closest thing to a beast you've fought in a while has been the spiders, but apart from that, like you don't know what the hell's happening. But yeah.
I lay on Ra.
Ra kind of jumps at you, just sort of plopping down on him.
Lewis will cast his usual morning stuff as he wakes up. And join the party as we clean up camp. Everyone else sleep okay?
No.
I didn't either.
Dreams, nightmares.
Nightmare.
Nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. Nightmare.
There are whines from the puppies.
Aw.
Yeah,
Aw.
they don't look so happy either. Actually, I would imagine, a part of me would imagine that they would just sort of, they would have been the first one to more or less ditch the this area, and then just sort of return a little bit, like every once in a while, just sort of whimper and whine, just go back into like this little portal thingy, and then come back afterwards. But yeah.
Seems we're all affected by something. What were your nightmares of?
I don't know. I give Rawhead pats while I'm laying on him.
What about you, Alvin the Chipmunk? I mean Alvarez. Alvarez.
I mean, Alvy.
Like,
Algae.
it's like
You know, I'm just
glare.
gonna call you Algae.
Yeah.
Dare. Dare. It's like glare.
Yes, I love it.
It's not like I was
You know, for being
chased.
Algae, you're far away from the sea.
Yeah.
It felt like I was being chased by something. Monstrous screams and growls.
Likewise.
How are you, Vivian?
I don't know.
Didn't sleep?
Not well.
Been up and paying attention to his questions as he gestures to Rias.
I don't remember my dream. Does that help? Face down on Raw.
This was something we ate last night.
Perhaps.
From what I remember, usually nightmares are caused by one's diet. Something must have been something wrong with our rations we had last night.
Your medical information is a little out of date, Alvarez.
Did you have the fact that I'm well out of time, or is that point out to the fact that what I just said?
That was a jab at the fact that you're so out of time that it's not even funny.
Just a tired stare at her. He's not even able to really give her a scowl. He's not fatigued. He just not good rest. He doesn't really have time to be angry. Regardless, he and Reyes did not sleep well.
I didn't sleep well either. And Raw's jumpy today.
It looks like Ra didn't get much sleep either. Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna actually just look at Ra and attempt a heal check to see if I can tell he's fatigued.
Yeah, go for it. If you fail, it's going to be explosive indigestion. That should view it as.
18.
Yeah, it's 50, I would say an 18 will allow you to say like this is a classic sleep deprivation. They did not manage to get any sleep last night.
Yeah, no, Vivian, your frog's really not looking well. He looks like he went an entire night without sleeping.
It's strange that all of us had such a bad sleep.
You know what? I'm gonna actually look around, see if any identifying areas around us. Like I know we're next to 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓼, but
No,
really
that's the
get
thing.
scope.
You don't know. The 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓼
Yeah.
flower is a literally it is mentioned in Gazetteer as a hidden location.
Okay. So to us, this entire area is essentially just still like random desert.
Yeah, like if all you're doing is looking around, essentially
all I
all you
am
can
doing.
see is because if you're just sort of looking around without like going around like poking around in the area, if you're looking, you are not going to be able to find anything just by through casual observation.
All I'm doing is casual observation for this one.
Yeah, no need to even roll. Let me just say like this: like you can look here for days, and you either need to get very lucky or do some magical investigation.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. Alright. It is strange how all of us pretty much didn't get sleep last night.
Well, we'll
I don't even
just,
see it. What was that, Vivian?
we should just move on. We still have letters to deliver.
Where are we headed anyway? Ito?
Yes.
Do you have the... Who has the map for the place?
Vivian raises her hand.
And that means that map is...
You could always open the hole for me.
You know what? I know I can't, but Riz, could you please open the hole so I can use the map? My way around places.
Sure.
Thank you.
Good to have you back, by the way, Vivian.
Thank you. I'm glad that you didn't melt into a permanent, shadow blob.
Yeah, that'd be unfortunate, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓵. So it is a bit worrying if it seems our group's come full circle with something like that. Or at least we're seeing that.
You mean that it's now become the general opinion, Ribbit?
I think so, at least. Maybe not for the newer... Well, maybe not for Oliver and Reed, but for the rest of us.
What do you mean, the general opinion?
Vivian just takes a bite of food.
That's more than just disappearing and reappearing, as we saw earlier.
Oh,
That seems to be something with shadows when we go and not go.
well, with what I just saw, with how Vivian appeared, definitely got to be something like that.
I wonder if that's why our shadows don't act right.
I think so, because when you disappeared after getting out of the cave, you went right into my shadow. I don't even know if you felt me touch your shoulder before you went.
I did not. All I remember was hearing everything happening, but not seeing anything between exiting that tomb and getting to the desert.
There's a little bit of tears in Vivian's eyes.
In other news, today I learned there's 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓼 turns you into living stone.
What?
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, there is.
prestige class of living monolith. It's
What the heck?
It's an Elysian specific one that
Mhm.
essentially turns you into a stony sentinel, mountain-hard guardian of bygone days.
What the?
At first level, you have 3 times per day swift action to enlarge a person upon yourself, despite not being humanoid. At second level, you are immune to ability damage from blood loss, blood drain attacks, or bleeding. You automatically stabilize at negative hit points. At 5th level, your enlarged person goes into righteous might, which essentially is you turn bigger and also like deal more damage. Level 7, you can summon a sphinx. Level 6, you can meld into stone at will. At level 9, you become immune to petrification as well as be able to use the spell statue at yourself at will. And yeah, like essentially it's like just turning into like a stone guardian, living monolith. It involves like placing a stone scarab upon your person as worth at least like 1,000 gold pieces.
I mean, that's one way to kind of rock an enemy's world. Anyways, can I get that?
Or yourself. You can rock yourself. Essentially, you just smoke a whole lot of weed and get stoned.
I mean, it sounds like what's happening to 𝓓𝓪.
Oh, definitely.
And 𝓓𝓪, if 𝓓𝓪 ever makes it. 𝓓𝓪's like on the same day. I don't think 𝓓𝓪's taken a long rest since we left the cave.
No, he has not actually.
Ah.
But is that all right in there, Rias?
Yeah. My mind's just wandering.
See. Vivian, if you could please. He's got the poll open.
Okay, I go in. Solid. As I take out the map, I do kind of have a price for it, Rias.
What?
A price? I'd like a hug.
Hug. Sure, I suppose.
Okay.
Help
gives-
yourself. Probably.
Gives
but
him a
just-
hug. I missed you when you were gone.
I see. It's good to have you back.
I leave the hug before it gets too uncomfortable.
Okay.
Roll me an etiquette roll.
Etiquette roll.
I actually do have knowledge nobility.
In that case, roll me knowledge nobility.
Let's see how long a hug is supposed to last.
Maybe for Zacharias.
Yeah, no. You just sort of forget to let go.
Vivian? I think that's long enough for a hug.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine.
To those who want to know, knowing proper etiquette is a DC 15 nobility.
Really? Huh.
That was an 8.
That was almost.
Almost there.
I was over halfway there.
Yeah, true.
Still though, I mean, it's not the worst thing you could have done. You could have slapped him in the face instead of hugging him.
Yeah. Actually, no, I could not have.
Corporeal then? Oh, you're short, yeah.
No, corporeal. I
Short.
just don't reach your face.
Yeah, you got the hop.
Yes.
You got a calm speed. Don't worry.
You gotta climb
right.
speed. Be free, you could also get Ron and then just like stand on his shoulders, like.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, Vivian, what's our plan after pizza? I've asked the others, but curious.
What?
Our next destination, I suppose. Ulan, from what I've interacted with, hasn't really had anything in mind while here.
Yeah, I'd honestly like to see his family's land, but he keeps disappearing.
And he hasn't mentioned where he's from here either.
No, he hasn't.
So once we get pizza, I don't know where we go afterwards.
Well, let's get to 𝓬𝓏 first, at least. I did get a, well, I guess you already know that. I did get a grave robbing license.
That's useful, at least.
I mean, we have to give some of the profits, but...
There's always a cost, but it's useful at least.
Oh, I'd rather not do it illegally and, you know...
Yeah, it's better to have the law on our side for that, that's for sure.
So we could do that, but, again, we don't know where he's from. He would have to tell us.
That's for certain.
I've been kind of waiting with the map for him to give us a general area, but...
The character, I have a way of figuring that out.
Okay.
I have something in mind.
That's fair.
Let's just say, technically speaking, spirits all dwell on the astral plane.
Oh.
Unless contact, like they are literally living memories.
Okay.
So that is one way of viewing the Phantom of Ulan. It is literally like a memory, but you guys wouldn't know that technically.
Yeah, no, I was like, y'all don't understand. I was screaming at the playback from last session.
Tell us, where are you from, Ulan? Let us know.
No. Here's the thing. He is a shaman. He can actually commune with spirits.
Oh, true.
Oh, no.
Occultist, yeah, as an occultist.
So he could have found out what the spirits were about.
Oh, true. He could have tried something like that, yeah.
Yes, he could have done some real cool shaman shit. And instead, it was like, no, everyone.
Thanos.
Yep, Thanos snapped the entire...
Thanos choked.
I just thought of something. No, it's not body. I was thinking, no, my spell wouldn't work. I need a body for that. For Speak with Dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would talk to the children otherwise, but yeah.
I mean, you could go sifting through the sand or combing the desert, but then again, likely you wouldn't find shit.
Yeah, honestly, of how long they've been there too, very likely I wouldn't find anything.
Also, you don't have an army of 𝓮𝓼 individuals to comb the desert for you.
If only we had those guys.
If only.
We ain't found shit.
But yeah, no, I was very disappointed at Ulan for not communing with the spirits.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, go ahead and go the first. Sounds good plan, and we'll see from there.
But yeah. So.
Sorry.
Okay, let us continue.
Once the map is in hand, I'll take Leonor to get us to 𝓬𝓏.
Roman survival. To see if you can manage. I mean, you don't necessarily know exactly like where you are in the desert. I mean, you've kind of gone yourself a little bit wild. but you know a general direction and know what to look for.
Indubitably.
So
I
one of you will
assume-
be survival.
I assume they're still -5.
-5 or 10, I haven't decided yet. But for right now, let's go with 5. Let's continue with 5.
All right, so that'd be 20 natural.
You
Not
know
natural
which
20, but
you know
unnatural.
you know which way north is. So you keep moving in a southeasterly direction for 28 or so miles. Let's go to there. Let me just roll a 𝓮𝓵. Okay. So nothing happens on your little journey, and you once again reach nighttime and you set up shop. Can I get some guard checks for the nighttime, unless you want to talk some more?
Well, I will say Alvarez will take first watch
I mean, we can make it easier.
and throw keep watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
I need more purple dice in my life.
Who are we?
Vivian still needs sleep, right, or no?
Hmm?
Does Vivian actually need sleep at all, or no?
No. I do not feel sleepy. I haven't just tried to stay up.
Weren't those the nights you were like faking sleeping? Though you were awake for a couple of nights.
No, I was casting Keep Watch.
Oh, because of keep watching. Okay.
I cast it on myself and made you guys keep watch.
You would need. Actually, now, technically speaking, clerics and paladins, I want to say, technically don't need rest. You just need to like pray every 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like technically speaking, you technically don't need rest for your spells. Just prayer.
Verifying.
On Alvin and on myself.
Wait, try.
Actually, wait, no. Wait, I can do it with one casting. I just realized one casting.
Yeah. One cast, you can literally just do it.
I can actually get 4 of us at this level. Wow. Yeah, I'm wait.
I just noticed that as you cast keep watch. Oh, one creature touched per level? Per 2 levels. Wow.
Yeah, I just require, a 1-hour bath because that's my silent prayer.
Yeah, that's it. Huh, okay. I can actually get 4 of us at once when I do watch. That's interesting.
I guess we are talking tonight.
I guess we are.
Let's get Raw in on that too, then. Let's
Yeah,
give Raw
Raw
keep
needs
watch too.
sleep. Let Raw sleep.
Alright, I get sleep.
Here's the thing, though. Do you divide up or let other people also help with it?
With what? With watching?
Yeah, this keep watch mechanic. Can you figure it?
Let me see.
It doesn't look like the 8-hour split.
I'm just double checking because, like, when it comes to endure elements, that is like a thing. Like, you divide the hours between yourselves.
And the affected creatures. Let's see. It says affected creatures must. So I think it's doesn't get divided. Yeah.
There's no division on time.
Okay.
Just Raw's fatigued. Let Raw sleep.
Yeah, that will actually sleep.
Well, Raw
Yeah.
can get some rest. You know, let's put it on the corgis then. Let's get the corgis in on this.
Also, keep in mind when it comes to the whole like act of sleeping, like that is a comfort thing. And
Yeah.
not everyone wants to like be active 24/7 and like keep an eye out. And goodness me, I wish I had that as a spell, like from day to day. If I could stay awake 24 hours on no adverse effects, I damn near would. But then again, sleep can be very comforting at times, so...
Dude, I'm the opposite. If I could just sleep constantly, I would sleep constantly. So... But Zacharias does it because he wants to study and stuff in the night, so...
I like learning. I like learning new things that I like.
I do want to say one thing about the keep watch for the night. Considering the fact that he did cast it on both of us. This will be watching the stars then. And keeping an ear out. During this time.
Hold one moment, I'm gonna roll a Cthulhu D10.
Cthulhu descends!
I mean, if this was The Sims and you were stargazing, you have a chance of getting hit by a meteor.
You don't know how close I got to getting a 100 or a 1 or a natural 1.
You never know.
The chance is slim, but never zero.
You know, I'm gonna throw a mulligan on that one. One moment.
Okay. He really wants something to happen.
Yeah, no, never mind.
Well, know which
the
level's
corgis are
for
sort of-
you, Alphorus.
So one corgi on either side of I'm just sort of staring up at the sky alongside with him. Nothing happens. Nothing happens throughout the night.
We talk though.
I mean, here's the thing: you have never heard the corgis talk. You just sort of heard them. You've heard them bark, and whenever you've heard them speak anything at all, like they seldom speak between each other, like apart from barks. When they sometimes speak without barks, it's in a language that you don't understand.
I mean, I think that the question was to general the entire party.
Well, that's up to you.
But fair enough on the corgi's part.
Yeah.
Oh, so sorry.
Nah, don't worry. It happens. Okay, I'll keep watching the corgis too since they want to watch, so they're all 60 effects, so keep watching them.
Okay. Vivian will attempt to sleep.
Yeah, Zach actually
sleep
he's
tonight
studying
goes-
during this stuff.
Sleep tonight goes a lot smoother than it did previously.
Thank God. Wait, gotta mean Norgorber. Wait, what? No.
So just out of the blue, the elder one of the corgis just sort of go, you know, it's a nice night.
What the heck?
Yeah, I would say to all of you, this is sort of feels like a disembodied voice out of nowhere.
Of all the times where Vivian and go sleep for real.
To be fair, Vivian's heard them talk before.
Where'd that voice come from?
I want to say Zacharias have heard them talk as well through comprehend languages.
I think once I heard them, yeah. Once.
Yeah.
I'm
But I mean,
not
it's been a
entirely-
while. Like it's been a couple of weeks, or a week maybe, a week and a half.
I'm not entirely sure. But I wished it came from the stars.
So you don't address the matter.
I'm not gonna question the fact that it's talking. Unless they keep talking, and they do keep talking more.
No, here's the thing. That I would argue that very much feels like if you reacted like, what was that noise? If you just keep on watching the stars, I don't think that second part will arrive unless you actively ask what was that sound?
Here's the thing though, Strife did.
Yeah, Zacharias did.
Yeah.
Ah.
And
Zacharias
I
did it.
responded with mine. And then that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was a bit,
No.
I was a bit
It's all-
distracted. Sorry.
It's all good, don't worry. You're choosing Intoxinate then. Okay.
Alvarez will look towards the source of the voice. Talk. People.
When they want to.
It's interesting. Who's 𝓮𝓵?
To be fair, this is the second one speaking.
Oh, it's the second one
Yeah.
speaking, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at that one too. As they start speaking. Who's 𝓮𝓵?
I would imagine the other one is just sort of poking to pointing, is lifting one of his paws and just pointing towards the other one. That's 𝓮𝓵, silly.
Hmm. Actually, I'm curious. You guys joined us one day, but you never did say why you've been around us.
I don't think we ever. I don't think I don't recall us ever talking about why.
Nope.
But
Because they appeared after, I think, the winter
But
section.
I got a feeling it's just, well, it's what the fates would have wanted. That is my thought on the matter, at least. If
Okay.
Pathfinder has other ideas, then it's up to her. But given what they are, I would have said it's what the fates would have wanted. And that's the older one, Buffard again.
Okay. Okay. Oh,
Like smushing the witch with the cat.
I see. Okay.
For those who don't know what that's referring to, the first introduction of these two was just sort of dropping out of thin air in a cart, just sort of knocking a winter witch that was levitating down to the floor.
Yeah.
Yep, it was
After
hilarious.
she nearly had literally the group running sponsored, not running scared, but like running almost dead.
It was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Yeah, that's quite interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. That's for certain.
Well, so long as you're helpful, I see no reason to kind of push you away.
I just remember I should probably voice these so that they can be heard on the stream.
Yeah.
Queen Gamcamp is very wise. Buffard said, "Well, we found you very interesting. Instead of what happened, the Fates told us to hang around and fight wherever it's needed, whenever it's needed."
Mhm.
And then Luffy afterwards, like smushing the witch with the cat! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Very excited, Doggo, that one. You could literally hear the tail wagging in his voice. Oh yes. Also, I can always make you a treat that if we can get the cart, if we begin the cart again, if we begin the cart again from our home. Oh, and it's told us to be careful though, seeing as we only have 3 chances left to get with getting cat repairs.
Let's see.
Rates do sound nice right now, but maybe now's not the time. Almost at Eto, so we can easily get some food there.
Well, you don't know. You imagine you'll soon be at Eto. Logic would
I
dictate.
imagine we'll be soon at Eto. I can only be optimistic.
If you guys like you know you were clearly like walking the wrong way yesterday. If you didn't walk like you were projected to be at Eto today, but apparently you walked the wrong way at one point, so you're starting to be a bit meh about it.
Yeah.
Actually, what the hell am I doing? I can. I can just sort of copy paste these.
Not the Twitch chat, yeah. Or onto
No, I can literally copy paste these here.
true.
Like that.
In game room, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Unless there is anything else people want to say for the night, I would say we progress the story a little bit because part of me would love to get to Eto today and mill around there a little bit. And
Okay.
there is one more thing planned on the outskirts before we get to Eto.
Alright, I'm down to keep going.
Yeah, I'm down. Well, at the very least, we can all work together. And then, time passed to the morning. Morning ritual. Recasting undetectable alignment again.
And there's no point.
There's always a point. You never know when you could run into another fucking paladin that isn't Vivian.
You never know when you can run into the 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓾 Paladin and his party. The one where the rogue is constantly in shackles and being just dragged behind the party, no reasons given.
Yeah.
To be fair, if I was already told not to cause too much of a shit. But otherwise, Alvarez really would have been smote.
I just like to believe that when it comes to the alignment of evil, there is more to it than just an on-off switch.
Yeah. Evil is complex, just as being good is complex.
No, I understand that. But based off of everything that Alvarez has done, there would have been a real smite evil.
Yeah, to be fair, he's been acting kind of sus.
Yes, exactly. He's been super sus. Therefore,
I like Zacharias, so I have, because he's the neutral end of it.
yeah.
If I can just mention one thing, he's been kind of suspicious, and on top of that, he's also not necessarily been the most. His bedside manner has not necessarily been the best.
Okay, that's
Again, he doesn't have points and heal. Therefore, he's a quack.
He's a quack healer.
Yeah, at the very least, I was able to reduce fatigue. Fuck off.
Anyways.
Except you almost killed someone else.
You gotta make a few bodies in order to save one.
I would very much love for one of you guys to roll survival and get lost again.
I mean, if we're gonna do it that way, then sure, I'll roll.
Okay, so Vivian has decided to take lead today, so since you said it first, roll me survival.
Just getting that 20 now, you know?
Oh my god, I got so close.
Oh, I rolled an 18, so
okay.
That is an impressive... Hold on.
At a minus.
No, that's an impressive 18.
Yeah, she had a 5-5.
Which is a -5 to which means that you still know which way north is, which means that technically speaking, you're still sort of on track.
Oh no, so that's a 13.
Wait, you don't have a +5 bonus, Kage?
+5 points?
This is a 0!
Oh,
wow.
It's a +5.
Yeah, well, still though, it's a DC 10 to know which way north is.
Sweet, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
So you just keep on going northeast, you just keep on going southeast. You haven't asked what Eto looks like or what Eto is, you just sort of see Eto on the map. So you keep on walking and start seeing mountains to the south, you start seeing no like signs of like proper civilization. At least like not the way you're walking. And suddenly it starts raining.
What?
Quickly cover the map so it's not soaked.
Oh, Vivian and Raw are just in heaven right now. Pure ecstasy.
If you're just walking in one direction, I would imagine it wouldn't be having the map up, especially in a featureless area like the desert. I mean,
yeah, there's no like tracker mark on our map where we are.
Yeah, but getting the map ruined though.
No, so he's saying that she wouldn't have it up all the time because we're strong in general direction.
Yeah.
You would see like mountains like to the south, and you think like, oh, that might be the pillars of the sun, like if it's the right one. I mean, if you walk completely wrong, then who knows? It might be like these mountains down here.
All the way over there.
All the
brazen
way over there.
peaks. You haven't seen a river yet, so it can't be the Shining Mountains. And you haven't seen a river at all, so it means that, like... maybe this is like this little... Well, then again, I think this is like underground river, but oh well.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen... You don't think you've seen the Scarab River yet, so you haven't got walked that completely wrong. I'm literally swinging my feet back and forth in my chair like I'm a little child. This is fun. So yes, so you're just sort of walking like in one general direction without the map up because you just know, okay, we think this is north. We keep on walking this direction until we see something featureful, and you're thinking, oh, Pillars of the Sun. Now we can start circling that thing, looking for Eto, and then all of a sudden it just starts raining. And in some of the rain, some of the shimmering mirages in the distance starts letting up, and you see what appears to be like maybe like the tops of some houses or something like that in the distance.
Hey, do you guys see that over there?
Ribbit! Yes!
Civilization!
I'm going to cast Detect Magic. Or to make sure I'm not fucking insane.
The water itself that falls down does not detect as magical.
Rivet. You don't know what Vivian says, but these are happy rivets. You guys don't understand how parched her skin has been.
You mean how parched her ethereal skin has been? Miss Ghost?
I've been solid several times in this desert.
Are you solid right now?
Let her enjoy the water.
But yeah, what do you guys do?
Ribbit. I guess we go into town.
Okay, so you walk towards the direction of this little rooftop thingy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Just one moment. Okay. So you guys are walking in the direction of the town, and walking in the direction like you're sort of about to crest like the sand dune, and you start hearing what feels like a you start to hear what feels like a louder argument between two people.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one you hear is the voice of a woman. Just going in the ways of, oh come on, I know my way, don't I? It's this way, it's this way, it's this way, Teto. And then you sort of hear a low, guttural growling, more like, ugh, I told you, that's the wrong way. You're going the complete opposite way of Eto, Yazola. Come on, get a hold of yourself. Well, if I'm going the wrong way, then why are you following me? You know I can't just leave. Come on. See reason for once, please.
I hide behind Zacharias because I recognize these voices.
To be fair, Zacharias would also recognize these two voices, just to have a visual to note them to.
Oh, looks like we meet them again.
So you guys crest the hill, and the lady, who is this time clothed, just sort of locks eyes with you, just points up direction, very animated, looks towards the beastly figure behind her, and say, "Look, brothers, the Emperor crew again. How are you guys doing?" Starts running towards you full sprint.
At this point, I hide inside Zacharias.
Wait, what?
Isola, wait! What are you doing? Come on! And in loud guttural growls that everyone can hear, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys." Anyways, well, I suppose I forgot to ask what you guys doing out this direction. Oh, well, never mind. No, never mind that, Yazul. It's them. It's them. It's the friends that smell like wag. Come on, you remember them, right? Don't tell me you forgot. You forgot, didn't you? You know, he just sort of leans right into the face of Alvarez, just sort of holding a hand beside her mouth, like opposite side of her mouth, just sort of shielding it from Yazul, just going in the ear of Alvarez, like very quickly. You know, he's quite a forgetful fellow. He won't tell you, but he is. Anyways.
I see.
But yeah, what are you guys doing about this neck of the woods? Well, sands, desert. Place, thing. Anyways, what are you guys doing?
Well, we're trying to make our way into Eto.
Well, as I was trying to tell my stubborn brother here, it's that way. And she points north. Vivian would tell you, like, she's pointing north right now. And Yazul just sort of pipes up in the background, "No. Like I've been trying to tell you since we left the village, Yazola, it's the opposite. It's the complete opposite way." And he points southwards. It's towards the crater. Don't you remember? Oh, come on. You saw the village. We went through it. You remember the bazaar? The bazaar, Yazola. Come on. You have to remember. She's
By the way, I don't think Vivian sees anything because, again, she's inside of Zacharias' body right now.
Unless Zacharias moves, you're just sort of obscured and you're just seeing blackness and hearing muffled sounds. You could have still heard a conversation, but yeah.
I cannot see pointing. I do not want to be in grabbing range of this lady.
So she can grab you?
Yes.
She already had those sleeves, so keep that in mind, Bun Bun. But yeah, like, she... actually, never mind. No, let's change that. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so she's currently wearing some flowy outfit, and she's... Oh, you mean we got these sleeves and sort of twirls around? The sleeves of the garment appears to touch upon Alvarez, but you feel nothing. The sleeves pass right through you. The sleeves of her garment, like, you're supposed to be buffeted by clothing right about now, but like it's like air passing through you.
So I do want to mention I am maintaining I am maintaining detect magic.
Yeah, she is right now. Like her clothes are glowing of magic. Specifically, it's specifically like her clothes are identifying as illusion, and the illusion appears to be originated from around her wrists. Or her arms, more like her upper arms.
Interesting set of clothes you have there. But I think in order to settle the argument of where Eto is, we need to... He closes his eyes for a moment before he soon says, "We need to follow where the rain falls." And he's going to point towards where the shimmering mirage is failing due to the rain.
No, the cause of rain falling was me, says Yazola, sort of pointing at herself with both her thumbs, looking very proud of herself. They needed some rain to help out with the crops. The well's been a bit dry as of late, so I just thought I'd help out.
I do appreciate the uncanny assistance to the crops. You did also do double work and actually help point out where the village is. You're pointing it currently in the wrong direction with your physical finger.
Yeah. Oh, you're silly. You're a silly man, you. That's not... If you're thinking that's Eto, no, that's just That's just a village. That's just a small group of farmers. I mean, you'd know better if you saw it. It's like a big, like, bazaar. Like, if a big bazaar, she sort of holds her hands together in a part and then holds together in a part. I was trying to accentuate how big the bazaar is. It's like going almost non-stop. It's weird. Honestly, have you seen an ocean? It's like that, but people. It's an angry ocean of waves, but people. Personally, I don't know how I feel about it. It makes it a bit hard to praise the moon, but oh well. That's beside the point. Regardless, I distinctly remember Eto being this way. Points north again.
Let me.
We could split up. One goes north, one goes south.
I would like to try and diplomatize with her.
When she points north and when she points north and says, like, every time she points anywhere and says that's Eto. Actually, one moment. Roll me a perception check, a quick one. Just any one of you.
Perception going up.
First one takes it, essentially. Yeah. Every time she points, it's in a different direction, essentially.
Oh boy.
Like every time she points, like she is just pointing in a different direction. Like last time she was pointing north, this time she's pointing like more like east. Well, not exactly where the village was, but like a bit more northish than that. Every time she points out in which direction Eto is, Yazul just sort of comes in with a good growl. I told you it's towards the mountains. Why are you so difficult? Oh well.
So, again, I would like to try and diplomatize with her.
Roll, I suppose.
And I'll say the words before I roll. Maybe try humoring him for a moment.
Have him buy you lunch if he's wrong.
Yeah. If he's wrong, he'll buy you something. And I'll also cover some costs. If it turns out you're right, then you get what you wish. So all I'm asking is just humor him for a moment. And I roll.
I'm gonna roll a D100 on this.
I hit 12.
Oh, you know what? That's perfect. Goodness me, that is perfect. Okay, so what happens is that it's beginning to become night. It's beginning to become night, and oh, one moment, need to look something up. Yeah, so as you're speaking this, and she just sort of just latches onto the word "as you wish," as you wish. She sort of looks up and just locks eyes upon something over your shoulder, as she starts sprinting more or less through you, and as she gets almost upon collision course with you, I'm imagining you sort of ducking out of the way not to get hit.
Yes.
As she passes you, you notice that suddenly all of her clothes are gone as she's holding her hands in the air, just shouting, 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓵, as it's running towards what appears to be a moon peeking out from over the sand dune in the distance.
Vivian would come out of Zacharias at that point.
And she didn't even hear us.
A bit.
And Yazul just sort of slowly walks up to you. I'm so sorry. She tends to get a bit excitable. Really though, if you're after Eto, it's just look for a passage through the stones, to the south. You just walk around along the mountains, you'll see a passage. It's literally a crater city. Anyways, I have to look after her. One moment.
Don't forget her clothing.
Wait, as it says. Oh, don't worry. It's all in the sleeves. It's all illusory. She let's just say she tends to rip up the real deals.
Okay.
Anyways, I need to keep close proximity. Yasola, wait! He says that it's all charging off, kicking up sand everywhere. You're still a big hulking beast.
Why were you hunting for Vivian? So you came out for the guy, so why were you hunting?
She strangled me last time we met. For a bit.
Didn't you clear it up last time?
I missed what you said. You went in and out.
Sorry, didn't you clear it up last time? I recall.
Yeah, but I didn't want her to strangle me again.
Are you actually fearful as a paladin?
I have fears.
Really? I thought when you became paladin you lost those.
Oh no, I lost the ability for supernatural fear.
No, there's
And-
all types of fear. You lost the ability to be ruled by fear. You can still be be afraid, but you lost the ability. You lost the downfall of being ruled by it.
Well, I mean, I lost the ability to, like, you know, be forced to cower in a corner, but I still have fears.
Interesting. Okay. I did not know that about paladins. Good to know.
I can also not be seduced anymore, which is fine. Wasn't really interested in people.
Let me see.
And yes, Wilbeck, I understand it is charm.
There is background noise.
Yeah, there is. I understand that it's charm, but we're just gonna say seduced.
Honestly, it's just a thing like with the fear thing. I would imagine you can still be afraid, but it's like the paladin's like aura of courage just makes it so like you can't be ruled by fear. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That makes more sense in my mind. You can still be afraid. It's not like you're like some unfeeling like. It's like you're unfeeling like super god, like Superman. But yeah.
No.
No, Zacharias says like that's like the what I would imagine more perception of paladins from people not paladin.
I guess the better way of saying it is that I still have fears, but my goddess helps me overcome my fears and doesn't let me be ruled by it.
I see. So if there was any actual danger, you wouldn't be hiding. I
No.
understand. Okay.
No, it's just being strangled is not a very good feeling.
Fair enough. No, it was incorporeal when you strangled her.
I was incorporeal when I was strangled.
She was ghost when you strangled her. Or when that person strangled her.
Which would imply that Yazola is magic as fuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that her sleeves went through her Dane is an indication. So.
No,
the sleeves
Yazul just said that her clothes are always an illusion.
I always know.
To say it like this, when this might be telling for some people, when her clothes disappeared, the only thing that was cloth left on her appeared to be like essentially like two sleeves on her upper arms.
Yeah, she's super nude when she got up to Alvarez there.
Sure.
Yeah. Think we should focus as to how to get into it.
Well, he told
look
us.
around the rocks, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to get late. We push through the night in order to look around to see which ways of passage to the crater.
I'd rather get to the city than sleep out here if we have the option.
Yeah, let's push on a little bit. Are you okay with that, Raw?
Ra got sleep last night. He's fine.
Yeah.
Let's push on.
Okay. So you guys push on, and you walk towards the mountains, and lo and behold, like what you see before you is what appears to be like several spikes of. So you have the mountain behind, And then before the mountain, you have sort of like these jutty outcroppings of stone just sort of shooting out of the ground, sort of making like an encapsulating like bowl shape in the middle when you're looking from the outside. And just even like when you get close to what appears to be like one of the cracks in like the wall, you start hearing like the hustle and bustle of something on the other side. Like you wouldn't be able to spot this from a distance, like unless you knew what you were looking for. But there is definitely civilization in there.
Okay.
Also, could I get that blank D20 that I asked for, Dane?
Yeah.
Never mind then. Okay. Okay, so you guys walk in through like this little like gap in the ground or whatever, and you emerge. Like when you walk through it, you emerge here in what appears to be like a approximately mile-wide crater, and in the center of it, you start like it just sort of slowly slopes downwards, and in the center of it, you see like a spiraling like building of some kind, just surrounded by tents of all colors and like magnitudes. A little bit out from that, you start seeing like some more proper buildings and stuff. It looks like this entire crater is a bazaar.
Interesting.
Who is leading the charge into this?
I'll be in lead.
I'll be behind Rias.
Okay, so Zacharias, Alvarez, and Viv to last.
Yep, Viv and Rod last.
And I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna say this. What happens next? I'm gonna leave the choice of a confusion save up to Vivian, because what happens for Vivian is that she sort of sees her vision starts getting obscured by smoke. You don't know like if this is real or not, but you start seeing like slowly but surely you start like losing the sight of the back of Alvarez and start seeing Zacharias through him. And then all of a sudden you see a shock of red hair appear in the place where Alvarez stood once before. And if you didn't know any better, you see 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓮'𝓼 standing in front of you.
Yeah, we're gonna make that save.
Okay, so you're gonna roll for insanity. Go for it.
Roll for insanity again.
Oh, I failed!
2 in 1 session.
D6. Roll me a D6.
Session. Come on.
Another one.
Ah.
I
You've been
know.
lucky with those. D100. Go for it.
Oh.
Come on. That is a hit yourself. So you're currently not holding. You are currently not holding anything. I would imagine. Or.
I currently do have a weapon in my hands.
Oh, never mind then.
My weapon is my gauntlets.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
right. But keep in mind. Confusion effect is 1d8 blanket. So you
That's
just
fine.
sort of. So what is your vocal reaction upon seeing 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓮 diluted by schizophrenia? Like you're trying like this can't be real, or what are you doing?
Oh, there's multiple 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓮'𝓼s. Because every time that I've gone into a haze, I've been talking to 𝓓𝓪𝓷𝓮.
Yeah, she has been actually.
Well, here's the thing though. Right now, there is only one.
There's definitely a loud ribbit. A surprise ribbit.
So there's a loud ribbit and then a clank of a gauntlet smacking the side of your face. Please roll me 1d8 plus strength.
Okay. Well, that's a 7.
That's a 7.
Oh, that would appeal.
𝓓𝓪, you rolled a natural. 𝓓𝓪 rolled a natural 20 on his will save. Dane has opted to switch 𝓓𝓪 for 𝓓𝓪, and he rolled a natural 20 on his will.
Wow!
And
Congrats.
I know,
with the
right?
current saves that he is on, that would be a ability to hear, but not see. I feel tempted to say, what should I say? No, let's just keep it as is. But with a 20, I'm gonna make it a little bit extra. So you've been able to you've been in a black void, just keeping on seeing in a corner of your eye something appearing. But you know how sometimes when you try to okay, so you know how sometimes when you're lying on the edge of sleep and waking up and then just sort of shooting forwards?
Yeah.
Imagine that, or when you get a deadened arm, you try to move your arm, but you're not getting a tactile feedback that your arm is moving. Imagine that, you're sort of sitting there, you're sort of bound to a chair, and you feel something in the corner of your eye, and you want to turn to look at it. You make the motion, but you get no tactile feedback that your head has been moved. And I imagine that, but for 2 weeks straight, or something like that.
Yeah.
And hearing every little piece of what has been happening at the same time. Sometimes some things repeating and whatnot, to the point where you don't know if you've been gone for 2 days or a month. You have lost all track of time, and suddenly you find yourself standing at the cliff edge overlooking a crater in the middle of a desert, overlooking very colorful tent and such in the downtown center of what appears to be a town, and you just sort of hear a loud croak and a clank of a gauntlet hitting flesh behind you.
Maybe.
So you look behind and you see a ghostly Vivian with blood on her face and blood on her hand. Vivian,
obviously,
you don't know if this 𝓓𝓪 is real or not.
𝓓𝓪's obviously going to be worried about her.
Here's the main important question. Has 𝓓𝓪 been feeling bad since the last they saw each other? Because
Yeah,
we left off in a fight.
Yeah, we left off on a fight.
Yeah, you guys left off on a fight. So have you been feeling remorse and hearing essentially the descent into madness that she has been going through?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially with that nat 20 being able to hear everything. Yeah, he feels bad because now this is the first time he actually sees things, or rather,
hearing everything
things
and sometimes hearing some things multiple times.
Yeah, this is the first time he actually gets to hear it on her end, essentially. Hear what she hears when she vanishes.
I'm giving you 2 successes on 𝓓𝓪 for that, by the way.
Okay.
Ooh.
I gave 2 on the 𝓓𝓪 and Zacharias when Vivian got in. I gave 2 saves on that one as well, by the way. Didn't mention it, but I counted it as 2 saves because it was such a major thing that happened.
Yeah, it was.
Are you okay? The hell did you go punching yourself for?
What happened to you back there?
You heard the smack as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But 𝓓𝓪, when did you get here?
You don't know.
You can see him too?
Don't know.
Yeah, I can see him. Why wouldn't I be able to see him?
There are tears in her eyes.
Last thing I remember seeing is us exiting that cave. Us exiting that tomb. I can recall everything that I heard afterwards. But all of a sudden, I'm here. This is giving me a killer headache. Vivian over here hitting herself.
Tears are now coming down her face. He's real this time.
What do you mean this time?
He's real.
Oh, curious. What do you mean this time? I'm with Rias here. What do you mean this time?
You say that, but here's the thing: when 𝓮𝓵's been in the shadows and listening, whenever Vivian has been spoken whenever everyone has been speaking in a different language, you would understand that language as if it was 𝓮𝓏. So you would have heard Vivian essentially saying like all the things you were saying like to 𝓵𝓏 during like the tossing of like the sword, like in the sands and such, like whenever anyone was speaking anything other than 𝓮𝓏, it would appear to you as if they were speaking 𝓮𝓏. I would say the one exception is when Vivian was saying something to herself in her world's tongue. So like, whenever she was talking to herself and talking in extension talking to 𝓮𝓵, like that was not there, she would have heard her speaking to him essentially. So you wouldn't like when she said like, "Are you the real one this time?" You wouldn't know exactly what she's talking about.
Yes, Vivian. I'm the real one. I'm the real 𝓮𝓵. As he tells her this, he kind of looks to his hands and takes a deep breath. More or less trying to convince himself after everything that just happened. I'm the real 𝓮𝓵. Don't worry.
He'd go solid and go hug him.
He gives her a hug back as he'll look to Rias.
Roll me, sorry to break the moment, but Zacharias and then 𝓮𝓵, roll me will saves again.
Alright, time to fail this will save.
Actually,
Let's
no,
go.
yeah, Vivian as well. Roll me will save.
Okay.
Everyone roll me will saves. I want
17!
everything. Give me it all.
Alright, let's see.
So another, that's 𝓮𝓵.
Not 20!
Fuck!
Okay, I get to have fun. I get to have very much fun.
Also, I just realized something, guys.
What's up?
Yeah, we're still at 32 hit points.
Yes!
18.
You still beat up to hell and back.
I'm not in a good health right now. I have a -4 𝓬𝓙 because
Hey,
of
welcome to the damage.
Though.
Drain,
Drain in
because-
that case.
because of drain.
We both have drain now.
Yeah.
But yeah, wait a
I'm
minute,
using 18%. Only 18.
What was your will save, Zacharias?
Can you guys hear?
We
I can hear you
can,
now.
but we didn't hear your...
Okay, sorry. 18. 18 was my roll.
17, 18, 20.
it's a 31, actually, thank you.
That's, yeah,
So
come
not
on.
20. Well,
The actual die roll is 9. I just have a high, but I don't roll high when I do it sometimes.
Sorry, I was writing a message. What was the total you rolled?
18. 18 total.
18, okay. So you just see... So you two just sort of see Vivian just sort of plop from being green and incorporeal to being purple and corporeal.
Mm-hmm.
But Vivian sees on the other hand... So you just sort of... Okay, so tell us again, like what is your process whenever you like you try, sort of like right before you turn corporeal again? Like, what is it that's happening? Are you like getting a rush of emotions? Are you willing yourself? To,
This
like, I wanna
time,
feel
it's
again?
a rush of emotions, wanting to hug him as soon as she can.
Okay, so what you see is that you just sort of feel tears well up in your eye, and then you sort of see like on your end the shadows. Like you look down on the floor, and you see something moving on the floor. You look down, and the entirety of the shadows of both 𝓮𝓵 and Zacharias has sort of leapt away from their feet as they are walking towards you, and they sort of go up and leap onto your feet, and sort of you watch yourself being sort of just not consumed, covered in shadow, like from the bottom of your feet, like all the way up to your head. You sort of see yourself growing more and more like pitch black, growing like it's relatively quick, but it feels slow, just sort of consuming your body as it is. And right after it like covers your eyesight, it just sort of blinks, and you just sort of staring at your purple self again. And it is not a pleasurable experience as you gain more insight into the shadows.
Well, then there's a scream instead of a hug.
There goes the happy moment.
The happy moment is just...
You know, sometimes when I play this, I feel less like a game master and more like an evil puppet master. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel partial good and partial bad.
Whoa! Why are you screaming again?
Well, to be fair, this is the first time you've seen her like go physical, I want to say.
I have.
Yeah.
That's the first time Deanna sees her go physical again. Or rather, be physical.
Your shadows. They jumped onto me and engulfed me.
Her shadows? Deanna's gonna look towards a shadow.
Roll me a will save.
I don't think I'm gonna make this one.
If you look towards your shadow, you roll the will save. If you don't want to look at your shadow, don't bother.
A 17 again.
Your shadow is still there.
What are you looking at there?
She said our shadows, so I was taking a quick look at mine real quickly. Blah blah. I took a quick look
your
at
shadow and Zacharias' shadow are still they're still there.
Yeah, I look at mine. It's like, yeah, it's here, right?
You choose to do auto fail?
Oh, I can roll if you want. I'm pretty sure I can fail, but I can roll.
Is your call. If you want to automatically fail, that is your call. But if you want to try to roll for the shadow save, go for it.
No, I'll roll and see. Ah, yeah, it's even lower. That's a 16.
Yeah, but both of your shadows are still there, and for that matter of fact, like, Vivian is still also there. I mean, you still see like the weird like little shimmering on the edge of the shadows, but yeah, like for Zacharias and for 𝓮𝓵𝓷, the shadows are gone. The shadows are still there. For Vivian, their shadows are initially gone, and then she noticed them slowly start to like come back. Like they start as weak blurred shadows, and like slowly comes back over the course of the next like 15-30 minutes.
They aren't gone. He'll look back to Vivian, his eyes concerned, before he'll move towards her cautiously and place a hand on her shoulder.
Rabbit.
I'm not going to dissuade the fact that you said that our shadows came at you at this point.
Wait, are you the real 𝓮𝓵𝓷?
Yes, I'm the... Just got through this, man.
After hearing that, I don't know.
Give me a goblin and twist get his head off. Just watch me.
Give me a goblin, and I'll put my fist through his chest. How about that?
Please no.
Trust me, I am the real 𝓮𝓵𝓷, but just after what happened, I'm choosing to believe her. I'm choosing to believe.
Doggos are still there as well.
Dogs are here. They're doing their best to cheer us up.
Right. So you're saying you saw that as you became physical, Vivian?
Yeah.
Huh. And music, oh boy. Zagreus just puts a hand to his head like slight head pain. Wonder. Sorry, I can't think that clearly, but that's strange.
Yep, it definitely does sound very strange.
What's even more peculiar is we've been seeing shadows much more lately.
And you guys are now experiencing the same thing I experienced.
Yes.
Deanna, roll me a reflex save.
Uh-oh. I assume
Corgis.
Yes.
Yes.
This, I'm not saying it's gonna happen
26.
at this moment.
Yeah, probably after the moment.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna happen afterwards. You do manage to dodge them, but you can choose to fail if you want to. You notice, you have reflex enough to notice them, but if you want to let it happen or not, that is up to you. But for right now, when this moment is gone, you are gonna get tackled or attempted to.
Yeah, I get you.
Thanks. Unsettling.
It is quite unsettling. At this point, Deanna's going to reflexively move his right hand over to his chest as he kind of buckles a bit. Guess whatever happened, I haven't healed from the last battle.
I can do that for you.
I would say let's go and find an inn first before we do that.
Yeah, I could use a cleric, honestly, but yeah.
I'm just glad to be back, especially with a friend like you. As he reaches a hand up and pets Vivian's head.
At this point, she goes uppies.
Beast.
All right. I think I have the strength for this. He'll pick her up.
And now feels tempted. Now
Now
feels
time.
tempting. Time for a dog pile. Do you fail? Do you fail the reflex save, or do you dodge out of the way?
I want to use my reflex save to catch the dogs and kind of hold them up with Vivian.
So in other words, you fail your will save and you create a dog pile of hugs.
I'll fail my reflex save, yes, to create a dog pile of hugs.
Does Zacharias join in?
No. He
Let
just
me roll a
stays.
break hand real quick.
Keeps
One
his
moment.
distance, like, oh.
Let's see about that hand, though.
Let me actually hijack 𝓮𝓪𝓷𝓮'𝓼 real quick. One moment. Let me just double check something.
Lofty looks over.
No, not Lofty. 𝓮𝓪𝓷. 𝓮𝓪𝓷 does
No, I'm saying
something,
what they
say.
said. What they said, yeah.
Yeah. So I would very much love for Zacharias to roll me a reflex save. A will save. Sorry, roll me a will save.
Let's go blue dice for this one. Ooh, that is 26.
26. So with one of the elder of the two dogs, 𝓮𝓪𝓷, looks towards you, just does a bark, and you suddenly feel a slight compelling feeling to yourself that, you really should go and hug your friends. But you do manage to shake off the compulsion. Do you still want to go and do it though?
No. Zacharias is very, for physical contact like that, not a thing.
Okay, so you're shaking off the suggestion spell. Got
Yeah,
it.
and shaking off the shit. It's not his thing for that kind of physical contact.
Okay. I tried.
You tried.
You
And he's not gonna do anything bad about it. It's like, the suggestion is harmless thing, it's just not comfortable to him.
So far, the two additions to this session or to this campaign, that is honestly majorly 𝓮𝓮's creation. At least Buffett and Lofty aren't essentially technically like, well, it's not technically. They aren't godlike in power and DC. They are more player level stuff. So 26 definitely like saves versus a third level spell. I made an attempt though, an attempt was made.
Yeah. No, it's 100% too, so it's
Buffett gives you a stink eye and then goes back to cuddling the rest of the group.
Alright. I think you guys are standing on my snake wound.
I mean, also, to be fair, a 26 from Alvarez was a fail for one of the spells of Yazola.
Yeah, I remember. It was a
Made him
super high
paralyzed.
GC on those.
But yeah, like I said, Buffett and Lofty are more like in...
Yeah,
reason why they've been tag along with the parties because that is more or less the player-character parallel.
Yeah.
A bit more chaotic than usual, but hey.
Hey.
I'm gonna use my strength to stand back up, literally holding up
Does Dan have enough
Vivian
strength?
and
I
the
don't know.
corgis.
Roll me a strength check. This is not your regular deadlift, these are living creatures.
Yeah.
To be fair, I went uppies and then they glomped.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
No, I can't get up.
Here's the thing. Right now, like it is, you have one uppies, and then you have like two corgis are sort of like just doing this, jumping up and just sort of falling their hands on you. You try to like overextend yourself, like pick them up as well. You are now prone with a frog and two dogs more or less sitting upon your body.
Zacharias just can do a sketch of this.
You have difficulty breathing. I'm holding you to the suffocation rules.
Suffocation rules. He just has corgi over his face. Yeah, Zacharias just
on his face and rest of the weight just on his stomach. He can't breathe.
Zacharias is gonna sketch this.
Yeah, they're definitely standing on my snake wound. Oh. Okay. You know, he's gonna start patting the dogs. You know, not like smacking them. He's patting them, saying, "Okay, I need to get up.
And they get off of you
The
once
Emperor
you
has
start
lost his first
suffocating.
wrestling match as he taps out, and the winners are the corgis.
The winners are the corgis.
Okay, he's gonna stand back up with Vivian in his arms. All right, let's find it and get some rest.
I could be very mean right now and say you get a flashback to an octopus, but I won't.
Oh god.
That was kind of BS, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It is now immortalized in sketch.
You sketched that?
Yeah. Or he's in the process of sketching from memory at this point because he's breaking up, but still. You just see him scribbling down on paper.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't sketch that.
Too late.
Damn it. Alright. Well, Deanna's gonna essentially carry Vivian into town as he's gonna try and look for an inn. I assume Rias follows?
Yeah. That's all.
And the note I want to end it on, then as I pull up, where in the world is the services?
Where in the world is Roger Rabbit?
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Okay, here we go. San Diego's currently in France. Don't know how I know. I just have a good feeling about it.
Well, I got that psychic connection.
Okay, here we go. So as you guys walk into town, you see droves upon droves, like just this short walk into town. You cross paths with like 3 different groups of enterers that is leaving through your exit, essentially. Like, it's wondrous that you guys didn't notice anyone when you're walking in, but like when you're walking out, you notice 3 different groups of adventurers are sort of walking your direction and past you while they're speaking about I heard something about oh, how about we check out that rune over there, and their tones get more hushed once they pass you and then get louder again after you've passed. You guys are smart cookies, so you can hear them a little while away. They're not too smart, I suppose. And you go to the nearest inn, which looks to be honestly, you seem to have your pick of inns. You look around and you see 3 different signs just in this quadrant alone, standing on this road. And
yeah,
the place where we enter is that you go into this poor inn expecting the price of around 2 silver, and you get told, "Oh, you want to stay? Oh, it's 10 gold a night, mate."
I saw 10 gold in my head. I swear, I kid you not. I saw 10 gold coming.
Yeah, so Eto, just to sort of enter on a little bit of a period. We're gonna start up next time we play on this world. We're gonna start up after you guys are rested from this inn. If you guys want a poor inn, a common inn, or a good inn, that is all your call. But the thing is that the price is going to be 50 times higher for whatever you want, essentially. Because right now in Eto is the place to be if you're adventuring in Elysian right now. Because the Ruby Prince gave his divine permission for adventurers and stuff to go raid the tombs of Elysian. And Eto just sort of became this hub of trade for adventurers and stuff like that. There are some, I suppose there are some people that go to 𝓲𝓄𝓙, but 𝓲𝓄𝓙 strongly encourages adventurers to go to Eto instead, because they're more of a prissy town, or prissy city-state or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Eto, everyone come here, we're in a crater, we're the crater city, we thrive on this. Everyone come here to us. And because of that, you literally have a bazaar in the center here that rages for basically 21 hours a day. It only stops for 3 hours during the height of the day because of the blazingly hot sun.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's in a crater. It's literally in a crater that is a mile wide. It is sheltered from...
That is legit highway robbery. I'm still not over the fact that
10 gold? Yeah, I saw that coming, man. I knew once you got to the rich place, it's gonna be...
No, here's the thing. This isn't the rich place. This is the
poor place.
This is technically a poorer place than the previous place. The only reason why the prices are jacked up so is because it's such a high traffic of adventurers here now, right here. Because this is one of the major places where people go to get their dungeon salvage appraised and pay their tithes to the Ruby Prince and such.
Okay.
It's literally tithes because you pay 10% of what you find and such. But anyway,
yeah.
So yeah, the prices are jacked up in this area, because why wouldn't it? There are literally daily traders and adventurers coming in and out every day. So why would they not have the prices jacked up high? Because right now, here,
people can afford it.
This is the place to be. Yeah, you'll afford it. You're going out, you're coming back more than likely with hundreds and thousands of gold.
Yeah, no,
so why would you not
smart.
jack up the prices? And yeah.
Sucks for us, that's smart.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let me find the little gazetteer on this place. Because
because it's actually very valuable as well. I forgot about that.
The place, the max purchase limit of items in this place is I want to say 60,000 or something like that.
Phew!
Holy shit!
I'm just gonna claim it as 60,000. If you guys want to buy stuff, the upper limit of items you can buy in Worth is 60,000. I'm just gonna claim it right now.
Jeez.
Okay, yeah, 56. Purchase limit is 56,000. I'm just gonna up it to 60,000. You can buy 1d6 major items, 3d4 medium, 4d4 minor, and spellcasting limit is 6th level.
Fuck.
So I suppose there's not a lot of spellcasters here, but when it comes to items and such, you are in luck.
I wish we had more gold now.
I wish we had more gold.
The upper limit.
I didn't
Here's the
spend
thing.
it all.
This is a hub. Also, hi, Dragon. But yeah,
No,
so
I
this
didn't
is the
spend it
limit.
all,
Like,
but
this is
Hi,
the hub.
Urban
If you guys are
Dragon.
gonna go out,
You caught
If
us
you
just
guys
as
are
we're
gonna go out-
ending.
if you guys are gonna go out and do like dungeon delves and stuff like that, more than likely the place you want to go back is here because
Okay.
you're gonna be able to sell a lot of stuff here. When it says purchase limit 60,000, well, when I say purchase limit 60,000, the way I'm looking at that is that you're able to exchange up to 60,000 per transaction. If you guys want to exchange something that is worth like 1,200,000, 120,000, you can sell it for 60,000 in this place if you want to. You can exchange a single item for 60,000 if you want to.
Gotcha.
That's how I'm looking at it right now, because this is right now a hub of adventurer commerce.
Yeah,
It is-
it
I
makes
like that.
sense.
Ostensibly,
I-
it's a 24-hour bazaar with the exception of like whenever weather permits it.
Yeah.
Which, by
yeah.
the way, speaking of adventure, XP.
Dang.
You know, I completely forgot about that. Here's a question back to 𝓮𝓵. I recall you being what? You were like kind of near or something like that.
No. That was already well past. That's how I got to level 9. That's the end.
Okay. So you're gonna be a special case in this case. I'm gonna give 𝓮𝓵 some experience, but not a lot. I'm gonna give you some. Vivian and Zacharias, because I'm very happy that it didn't evolve into like just straight up like. I'm happy that like conflicts will resolve amicably and stuff like that. So I feel very happy about that. So I'm gonna say 3,000 to Viv and Zach.
Level 9.
I'm gonna
Nice.
say 2,000 to Alvarez and 1,000 to 𝓮𝓵.
Holy shit! I am in 4 digits. To
What?
level up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like 9,000 left.
No, 7,480.
Close enough.
Yeah,
But yeah.
close enough.
2,000
might get
to
it in,
Alvarez,
like-
1,000 to 𝓮𝓵, 3,000 to the rest.
I might get in like
That's fair.
4 more sessions, which is now like 2 to 3 months.
When I said earlier that I sometimes feel like I'm some sort of puppet master for this game, I'm not lying when I say that, because sometimes I just sort of feel myself going into a fugue state, and just let's just say it like this: game master bullshit just sort of dribbles out of my mouth sometimes.
It's alright.
Alright.
It's exhilarating to say the least.
So, I do appreciate everyone who came into today's stream, wanted to watch. I actually have to go do some important stuff right now. So, I'm going to be ending stream here. We're going to go raid out.
And catch us next week for hopefully the first session of Rise of the Rune Lords.
Yes.
We will see Lazarus in secondary action.
Yeah, like Lazarus from the throwback episode has been ripped from his place and put into a non-shadow situation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just to mention that. So we're gonna be playing every once in a while from now on. We're gonna be playing Rise of the Rune Lords, and that is explicitly the party is not going to be part of the shadows. That was something that the players asked for, and I'm willing to oblige. If you wanted to be with Edward the Kobold, it can be Bun Bun, but it won't be part of the shadows. When Edward isn't there, he'll just essentially be watching the back line. We're still gonna have the drop-in, drop-out thing, like just to make sure that it's not gonna be a pressure to like be there or don't. If you're there playing, you'll get experience. If you're not there playing, then you won't. But I'm not gonna kill a character just because you're not here. When your character's not here, you're simply being in the back lines, like watching your back and watching the back of the party. If you're not there and a TPK happens, guess what? You're the reason why the group like assembles anew or something like that.
You scared away the enemy so that way we could be revived.
No. You
Oh.
ran away. Or either that, or you're mounting like a rescue operation or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Completely honest. that can honestly be a thing. Just because the enemy kills you doesn't mean that you're knocked out dead. It all depends on if you're stabilized or not.
It is all about how you stabilize. All right. Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Later.
Bye.